And the fireworks here at the Edward Jones Dome moments ago, and then the lights came on. You know, sometimes the games are won in the trenches more often than not. The Panthers have won the toss, and they'll get the ball first. Carolina winning their last 3 games of the regular season and then defeating the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams ran off some impressive streaks this year. The Rams had 2 solid streaks of 4 wins in a row after they fell to 1-2 and then won 7 in a row before their loss to Detroit. That's Jeff Wilkins, and he'll be kicking off. Led the NFC in touchbacks, and deep for the Panthers will be Rod Smart, who has returned a kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown this year. So the fans are primed, and hope you are too, as we get set for this Fox Divisional playoff. And Wilkins' kick will be caught at the 2 by Rod Smart. And Smart brings it out close to the 30-yard line as we take a look at the Carolina Panthers offense. Jake Delhomme with a terrific game and hopes that this is a happy 29th birthday today for him.
We've talked a lot about the defensive line of the Panthers, but Jordan Gross will be going up against Leonard Little today, another big matchup.
And in the backfield, you know that Stephen Davis is going to get a lot of work, and Steve Smith, along with Muhsin Muhammad, both amassing over 100 yards receiving last week. And Ricky Prohl, the ex-Ram, comes out as a 3rd wide receiver on first down from the 29 and passing on first down, and they're going to Ricky Prohl, and the pass is incomplete, knocked away by Jeremetrius Butler. The Rams defensive unit.
And there's Leonard Little right there, probably one of the best pure pass rushers in the NFL today. Great speed on the outside.
And returning in the middle, Robert Thomas, who had been hurt. He's got a lot of speed. He is starting at middle linebacker. Aeneas Williams, yet another Pro Bowl selection, along with Adam Archuleta, 2 outstanding safeties. There's Leonard Little. 2nd down and 10. Muhammad in motion, and on the end around, it's Muhsin Muhammad, and Muhammad crosses the 30-yard line, but the Rams prevent further damage thanks to Jeremetrius Butler, the cornerback who limits Muhammad to a gain of 3.
You call the Rams a finesse team, but they're a fast team. They're not a finesse team. That play looked like it had big play potential all over it. That speed of the Rams defense shut it down for a short gain.
So there you see the changes on 3rd down and 7 as Deshaun Foster replaces Stephen Davis and Nick Goings, who's been a reliable 3rd down back, lining up for the Panthers on 3rd and 7. Pressure from the corners. Delhomme steps up and completes for the first down to Steve Smith at the 44-yard line. A pickup 11-yard line to quiet the crowd with Archuleta in on the tackle.
Jake Delhomme, very composed. He's coming off that big victory last week against Dallas, and they knew that the way to win would be to make some plays in the passing game down the field. It's a different approach today. St. Louis has that bend but don't break philosophy. They don't want to let the big play up. They're going to have to dump it down and underneath and be very efficient in their passing game this week. And
Leonard Little has been replaced by Bryce Fisher, number 94, as he comes out of the game with the Panthers picking up a first down. And this crowd is deafening, and they're going to go with another end around. Steve Smith, and Smith looking to throw, and downfield, and the pass is knocked away. Muhsin Muhammad, and it looked like the Rams had smelled that one out. Aeneas Williams and a couple of the teammates, including Travis Fisher, downfield. So we're seeing some flea flickers early on.
Well, they definitely had it covered right here, but Steve Smith throws a great ball in between 3 defenders. Muhsin Muhammad's got to make that catch. Those are opportunities in a critical game like this that you have to capitalize on. There's your big chunk right there. They dial up a gadget play and they don't execute it.
That was a pretty good pass. I will say that Muhammad was there, but so were the Rams, but it was in Muhammad's hands. So now the Panthers with a 2nd and 10 on their 44, and the first run of the game by Stephen Davis, and a good one as he gets to midfield, picking up 6 yards, leaving the Panthers with 3rd down and 4.
And I still believe that we've seen Carolina come out and throw the ball a little bit. They've had some gadget plays, but their strength is pounding Stephen Davis into the middle of that defense. They've got to stay with that. That's what got them here. Stay with your strength, even if it goes against your opponent's strength.
And Moose, you've got to pass the ball. John Fox knows it. Loosen up the defense so he can run Stephen Davis. Leonard Little checking back in at defensive end for the Rams. And Ricky Prohl signaling to Muhammad. Didn't look like he was sure what the play was, and the pass thrown over the head of Muhammad, and that will bring up 4th downs.
You can't, there's no substitute for veteran leadership on the field, and Ricky Prohl right there got the lineup corrected. Then when he went in motion, he thought that there was 2 people moving at the same time. You saw him hesitate and reset, so there was no penalty. What a smart play by Ricky Prohl.
And you got to remember the crowd, with all of the preparation, you can work on it all you want, but until you're on the field, you don't know. So Dane Looker goes back deep for the Rams, and Todd Sauerbrunn, who is heading for his 3rd consecutive Pro Bowl with a good high kick, forcing Looker to call for the fair catch at the 17-yard line. St. Louis Rams going on attack for the first time in this game, and at home they have been comfortable here, scoring at least 27 points in every home game this season. And it's going to be a test for even the good defense of the Panthers today, Moose.
You can't argue with the numbers that are out there. When this Rams team is here at home, they are a different, more productive group.
They begin from the 17-yard line, and Marshall Faulk getting the handoff and trying to get Faulk in the swing of things. Picks up 5 yards on 1st down, with Dan Morgan, the middle linebacker, making the tackle. Taking a look now at the Rams offense, and Marc Bulger making his first career playoff start today. And the offensive line, Orlando Pace and Kyle Turley. The test will be McCullum, Wallabaugh, and Timmerman.
And you know, Torrey Holt is glad to see Isaac Bruce back in the lineup. That means that the coverage cannot be rolled to him to be doubled.
2nd and 5, playing bump and run, you can see, with the receivers. And instead they go to Faulk again, and Marshall Faulk will get the 1st down. Dan Morgan again on the tackle. He gets 8 yards, so maybe setting up the pass by running Marshall Faulk on the first 2 plays of the game. And the defensive unit for the Carolina Panthers, and they're all outstanding. And Chris Jenkins will be a Pro Bowl starter, and he is all pro. Dan Morgan playing very well in the middle since he has become healthy. He has had an injury-plagued career.
And the secondary, they're going to have to be able to shut down those receivers. If they can't, they're going to have to come down inside and try and stop this run that the Rams have started the game with.
And a lot of shifting by the Rams, and they have both Holt and Bruce lined up to the right side. And they fake to Faulk, and the pass complete to Torrey Holt, and he puts a move on and goes out of bounds, picking up about 8 yards on the play. And it was Ricky Manning Jr., who wants to be called Ricky Manning, who has moved into the starting role defending.
Well, you get these guys out in the open field. You see Torrey Holt right there, just goes in on a little China route, comes back outside, but look at him in the open field right there. He freezes Ricky Manning Jr. to get some extra yards.
There you see the first quarter matchup, and the Rams leading the NFL most points scored, and the Panthers allowing the fewest. So something's got to give as the Rams look at 2nd down and 2 on the 38-yard line. Again, Dane Looker is the 3rd wide receiver, and it's going to be another pass. And with plenty of time, this one is caught at the 39 by Dane Looker, who they call Little Ricky after Ricky Prohl, who performed in that role, a 24-yard pickup.
What a great throw by Marc Bulger. Anybody who had any doubts how he would respond today, look at that throw right there with Reggie Howard in good position on the coverage. Watch how tight this ball has to be fitted in. He's going to break across the face of the underneath defender. Here comes Deion Grant from the backside, and he fits it into a very small area.
So already, as you look at Looker, who was a very reliable 3rd wide receiver, cut twice by the Rams and was traded initially to the New England Patriots, and Marshall Faulk getting very little on the 1st down. Julius Peppers making the tackle, and the chess game goes on between Mike Martz, who calls the plays, and John Fox, the head coach, who once shared an office back in 1995, the year before Fox became the defensive coordinator for the Giants, and Fox was a consultant with the Rams that year before he moved on to New York.
And he's very familiar in defending this offense to his time spent with the Giants, and there's a good relationship there. It's going to be fun to watch because it's going to be a live chess match out on the field today.
Isaac Bruce goes in motion, 2nd down and 10. And the pass on the slant caught by Bruce. And Isaac Bruce gets down to the 20-yard line and a 1st down. So an 18-yard play and good protection that time. Marshall Faulk doing a good job in the backfield.
Well, this is not good for the Panthers right now, because whether they sit back in zone coverage or, like that last play, bring pressure on the outside. You'll see right there coming from the bottom of your screen, Terry Cousin. They're picking up the blitz. They're executing their offense. So right now, Carolina, no matter what they're throwing at the Rams, they can't slow them down.
That's the way it looks right now as the Rams held on their first defensive effort. They have a 1st down on the 20-yard line, and a penalty marker is down. And it looks like it will be called on the defensive unit.
98. 5-yard penalty remains, 1st down.
Shane Burton.
And that's something last week the Carolina defense was able to get into the rhythm of Quincy Carter's cadence, and sometimes it looked like they were there before the ball was being snapped. They're not going to be able to do that today. You could hear the hard count right there by Marc Bulger. They're going to be able to go on 2, on 3, on 1st down. They're going to be able to vary the cadence so that front 4 of the Carolina Panthers can't get a jump.
And already the Panthers committing a penalty, something they didn't do last week against Dallas when they didn't turn the ball either. That was a near perfect effort last week. This is a new week, and Bulger getting more time and passes to the fullback, Joey Goodspeed, and Goodspeed will get the 1st down. And right now the Rams are moving the ball with ease as Ricky Manning makes the tackle on Goodspeed.
And here's evidence of Marc Bulger doing what he talked to us about, reading low to high, because he knows he can't stand back there and hold the ball. If he's got a longer developing route on and something pops up early in the underneath routes, just take it. Get the 6 yards, get the 7 yards, and move on to the next down.
Meanwhile, Bulger starting out this game 4 for 4 for 58 yards. He's got to do a world of good for his confidence. 1st and goal at the 6, and the handoff this time to Faulk, and the Panthers knocked Marshall Faulk back, and it was Shane Burton, former New York Jet. So it'll be 2nd down and goal.
What the Rams are going to try and do, they're not going to try and create holes in their running game. What they want to do is just let those offensive linemen just
Number
get face
70
up,
reports as an eligible receiver.
number to number with the guy they're blocking, and then allow Marshall Faulk to find the openings and weave his way through the hole.
John St. Clair was announced as a tight end. He normally is a tackle and an eligible receiver, and there goes the pitch to Faulk. Faulk trying to go around the left side, and Mike Minner knocks him out of bounds at about the 3-yard line.
This is going to be one of the things that they're going to have to be concerned about, because right now in the NFL, I don't know if there is a back who can change direction and start and stop as fast as Marshall Faulk. You saw him set everybody there on the inside move. This is a heck of a play by Mike Minter to get back outside and get Marshall Faulk shoved out of bounds.
And a misdirection toss, and Minter, outstanding safety, and now it is 3rd down and goal on the 3-yard line. The Rams were 5th in 3rd down conversions, so the Panthers looking to force the Rams to try the field goal. Important play in this 1st quarter, and here's Bulger carrying, and he's down at the 3, and Reggie Howard coming up from the secondary alertly to make the play on what looked like a design play moves for the quarterback Bulger.
Yeah, that was not a rollout and a throw. That was trying to get the defense to collapse inside on Marshall Faulk, but they played it very well. A great team scheme. You don't bite on the inside. Do your responsibility. You can't worry about what the guy next to you is going to do. Do your job. Don't get down inside when you're supposed to have outside contained.
So it's 4th down, and Jeff Wilkins will try to give the Rams the lead here with a 20-yard field goal, and he does. And you talk about ball control, and the Rams controlled it for more than 6.5 minutes. And how about this for the stat of doom? Rams unbeaten when they score on their first possession, and the Panthers have not won in 2 tries when the opposition has done that. And Wilkins kick into the end zone, returned by Rod Smart, and looking to juke the defender, and he does a pretty good job. Rams lead on Jeff Wilkins' field goal, 11 plays and 80 yards, using up 6:37. Rams led the NFL at red zone field goals, and that's could be a good news, bad news deal. And the whistle and a penalty, false start called against the Panthers. Already 2 penalties, and the crowd.
False start. 84 on the offense.
And this was
penalty, still first down.
called against Jermaine Wiggins, a tight end, and a 5-yard penalty. Mike Carey working as the official today as the referee.
You can try and simulate crowd noise at your practice, but it doesn't compare to what it's like when you actually get here, and then you've got all the emotion that you have during a game that doesn't exist when you're on the practice field.
And the emotion of having the other team really go down the field, even though they had to settle for 3. And here's the handoff to Stephen Davis, and Davis with a big gain and pounding his way to the 36-yard line, and a gain of 13 yards. Adam Archuleta making the tackle, and you know he'll be the focal point today of the Panthers offense and the key matchups on the line, Moose.
Yeah, we're going to look at Jordan Gross and Leonard Little. Now, Jordan Gross played against Michael Strahan a couple weeks ago and did well. Grant Wistrom has never really had a great day against Todd Stussy, so we'll see how these pan out during the course of the game.
Stussy has the most playoff experience on the Panthers, 10 games while a member of the Vikings. 2nd and 3, and the quick outside to Muhsin Muhammad, and the Rams are there, and they'll end up losing a yard, and it's going to be Travis Fisher who came up to make the play. No gain on the play, and that will bring up 3rd down.
One of the things that Lovie Smith wanted to get back to this year with his defense was rallying guys to the ball. He wants 5, 6, 7 defenders. You watch these guys hustle, you'll see the opposite defensive end coming all the way across field to get in on the tackle.
And this is a defensive unit that often goes ignored when everyone talks about the greatest show on turf. Not quite the way they were in '99. 3rd down and 3. Deshaun Foster is in the game at back, but the pitch going to Foster has a blocker ahead, and Foster dives and appears to have the 1st down. Good extra effort by Foster on his cutback, and a good block by the rookie right tackle Jordan Gross.
Well, this is a real nice play by Deshaun Foster, because it looks as though the Rams have strung this out. You see him plant right here and then back inside, and because it's a 3rd and 3, get your head down, get north and south, and get that necessary yardage.
Guys, I know you're talking about the noise level down here. This is the loudest I've ever been on the field in the stadium, the loudest I've ever heard it. These fans are not letting up.
Tony's pumped, Moose. I think he's in this game. Stephen Davis off the right side and is hit as he crosses the 40-yard line by Pisa Tino Isamoa and Ryan Pickett, and a 2-yard pickup as we approach the 3-minute mark in the 1st quarter.
Looks like John Fox tried to throw the Rams a little bit of a curveball on that opening series, throwing the ball a little bit. You had a reverse in there and a reverse pass. This 2nd series, he's coming back to his bread and butter. He's using Stephen Davis to pound the ball. He's got Deshaun Foster in there working.
Well, if you're going to pound the ball, you got to loosen it up with the pass, and that might have been a strategy on the 1st series. Mohamed in motion, 2nd down and 8, and here comes the blitz with Archuleta, and the pass has gotten off to Steve Smith, who makes the grab and gets into Ram territory, picking up 14 to the St. Louis 45. Fisher and Thomas on the tackle. They picked up the blitz.
Well, this is a nice job by Jake Delhomme, because he's got a free blitzer in his face. A good slant route right there by Steve Smith getting down inside. But watch Jake Delhomme buy him some time with a free guy, Bryce Fisher, right in his face.
And all of a sudden, this Panther team no longer one-dimensional with Stephen Davis, with Muhammad and Smith becoming big factors as of late. On the 1st down, Davis pounding up the middle, and that's a solid gain of 3 yards with Pickett and Archuleta in on the tackle. And a fast-moving 1st quarter. The Rams with the ball control getting the 3-0 lead, but it looks like the Panthers have settled down on the attack.
Well, you know, they're just going back to what they do best, and whether you're trying to soften that defense up or you're trying to let them know that you're not worried about throwing everything at them at some point in the game, you got to this point because you did something very well, and that's running the football. You can't get away from that.
And they've got 2 tight ends with Wiggins and Mangum, in the pitch going to Davis off the outside, and a terrific play by Robert Thomas. who had been out of action the last 3 games with a groin injury, and his speed making the difference here, holding Davis to no gain.
Here's Robert Thomas. He's your linebacker in the middle. You're going to see him flow right there. This is a guy who's been out of the lineup for a couple of weeks with a groin pull. They needed to have him back because Stephen Davis is a big running back, but he is sneaky fast on the outside. Robert Thomas is very good at matching speed to speed. You saw right there. There's a matchup as they chased each other down to the corner.
3rd down and 8, and the noise level has just risen appreciably. On the 43, and here comes the blitz and the pass, and it is intercepted. Polley, after juggling down the sideline and finally tackled from behind. Polley, who intercepted 4 passes in the regular season, returns this one 35 yards. A critical turnover early here.
This is the one thing that John Fox could not have happen during the game. He cannot give a short field to the St. Louis Rams. They played a near flawless game last week. They have struggled a little bit this week. Polley, an athletic catch. You see the concentration. Then he's got the hustle by his other guys to get downfield in front of him to pick up some blocks.
To his credit, Moose, he made sure he made the catch before he started to run with it. And so here's a team didn't turn it over. No penalties last week, and they've already cost them in this first quarter. Leading the NFL with 46 takeaways, the Rams threaten on the 25 of the Panthers. And the intelligent crowd quiets down for the offense. Marshall Faulk moves the pile to the 22.
John Fox cannot be happy about Mike March's approach right now because he really felt that he was going to come out and throw the ball around and that he was going to be in kind of a 3rd down situation all day long. But the start of the last drive and now the beginning of this drive, you're seeing a lot of 2 tight ends, a tight end and a fullback. They're running the ball with Marshall Faulk inside. That's the one thing that shows that Mike March is maybe not going to be that stubborn coach that some people have accused him of.
Well, it remains to be seen what happens as the game goes on, but right now all the Panthers want to do is hope the Rams don't get a field goal. They want to hold them or a touchdown. We begin the second quarter. Dick Stockton along with Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa here in St. Louis. The Rams lead and are threatening. And talk about Mike Martz crossing people up. He has run the ball 7 times and passed only 4 on Martz-like. As the second quarter begins, 2nd down and 7 on the 22 of the Panthers. And this pass, a wide receiver screen to Mike Furry, who gets the first down. So little used Mike Furry picking up 9 yards for the first down.
There's the first quarter stats. The big one right there, the turnover. You know, Carolina has come out. They've struggled a little bit with the noise, but they're doing a good job. But they just can't have the turnovers. The mistakes are so magnified when you get to the playoffs. If you're playing a team that's explosive like the Rams and you're that conservative ball style approach, your margin for error is so small.
But how often do you play like a near-perfect game twice in a row? Any team. I don't think it happens. Well, it rarely happens that you have no penalties and turnovers, but 2 in a row? And here is the fade into the end zone, and it was intended for Isaac Bruce, who did not turn around in time. Reggie Howard was the closest defender to Bruce.
Just a nice throw by Marc Bulger right there, getting it into the corner. Just a perfect pass. Isaac Bruce just couldn't come down with it. Great timing on that.
Deuce, you got something?
Yeah, you know what? The Rams are doing a great job of keeping the defensive line off balance. I mean, you got screens going outside. You got a trap inside. I mean, I'm having a hard time here on the field trying to find out where the ball's going. You got so much confusion, a lot of motion. Marshall out of the backfield. As soon as the defensive lineman gets set, he lines up in the backfield, so you don't know whether it's going to be pass or run.
It's going to be a run here as Marshall Faulk on the pitch. And he spins inside the 10-yard line. Ricky Manning making the tackle, picking up 4 yards in this opening minute of the second quarter. Winner of this game will advance to the NFC Championship game next Sunday on Fox.
And Marshall Faulk has really exploded the second half of the season. He started out slow, had the injury, had to go in and get fixed up a little bit, but he's back to the guy. Mike Marc said he hasn't seen Marshall playing this way since back in '99, and that's not a good situation if you're a Carolina Panther defender.
Had the broken hand, missed 5 games, also a knee injury. He says he's going to get the 10,000-mile checkup after the season down in Florida and get everything fixed up. 3rd down from the 5, and the pass intended for Bruce and not on the mark, and that time Bulger getting some good pressure there. And 4th down coming up. So a couple of Pyrrhic victories for the Carolina Panthers, preventing the Rams from getting 6.
And there's that front 4 generating pressure by themselves. Don't have to bring the blitz, and it's Brenson Buckner, 99, right there. Marc Bulger does a nice job of standing in the face of the pressure and delivering the ball, but he's too comfortable in that pocket right now. Every time they've brought a blitz, Mike Martz has been one step ahead, had a good play called. That front 4 has got to start getting pressure on their own.
So Jeff Wilkins trying a 26-yarder. Having a career year, leading the NFL in scoring, and another chip shot. A couple of Jeff Wilkins field goals, the scoring thus far early in the 2nd quarter as you look at the scoring drive, and the Rams did get 3 off of the Tommy Polley interception. Rod Smart back to receive the kickoff. Both teams 7-9 last year. And the year before, the Panthers were 1-15. So John Fox has made great strides in 2 years, but finds himself in a hole here. Smart will return from the 4. And cuts to the outside, and Rod Smart has done a pretty good job of returning kicks thus far. 29 yards. Right now the Panthers are looking for any kind of a score as they start from the 32 and hand off to Stephen Davis, who bursts one, and Davis in a foot race, and one man has a chance at him and knocks him out of bounds at about the 12-yard line, and that's Aeneas Williams. So a 63-yard burst by Stephen Davis, and the Panthers are back in business.
One of the things that the Carolina offense does, they punch holes in the defense, and they don't need a lot of room. Stephen Davis hits that thing downhill. Jason Sehorn, a very poor angle coming up from the safety position, allows him outside on the sideline. You can't do that. If you're going to miss, you've got to miss and force him back to the middle of the field.
And he got to the 4-yard line, so that'll be a 64-yard run by Stephen Davis, and 1st and goal as Stephen Davis then limped off the field, and Deshaun Foster is in his stead. 1st and goal at the 4, and a penalty flag is down as Foster, and the play will be blown dead as the officials, because of the noise here, couldn't really stop the play from getting underway, although they did blow the whistle.
Play doesn't count. False start. Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty, and still 1st down. 2nd
time for the tight end Jermaine Wiggins on the false start, and really disgusted over on the sideline as Stephen Davis is understandably so.
Yeah, you saw him at the end of that run, kind of looked like he blew a tire, and hopefully that is not a hamstring injury, because that could be something that will affect him for the rest of the afternoon if he is able to come back.
That was his longest postseason run and his longest rush of the season. So Foster remains in there. 1st and goal after the penalty, ball back at the 9. And here is Delhomme with a pump fake and a pass well over the head of Muhsin Muhammad. And now Stephen Davis is heading into the locker room. So this is bad news for the Carolina Panthers, who relied on Davis, who had over 1,400 yards this year. Panthers looking now at 2nd and goal from the 9 and near the bottom of the league in red zone offense.
When the opposition helps you out by having a penalty, you go from 1st and goal at the 4, now you're back at the 9.
Back here at the Edward Jones Dome, the Carolina Panthers, who had a 1st and goal at the 4. And the story for Jake Delhomme, he has 3 rushing touchdowns. And Stephen Davis has a strained quad and questionable as to his return on the empty backfield. And the flag is down and the pass, and they won't get this play off. Another false start penalty called against the Panthers.
False start. Offense number 69. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
So it's the rookie from Utah, the number 1 pick, Jordan Gross. Let's take a look at Davis and where he might have come up lame.
Yeah, you'll see at the end of the run right here, he just has a little tweak right there. You can see the grimace on his face right at the end of the run, that strain on the quad. Hopefully he gets back. You don't like to see a team in the playoffs have an injury to one of their key guys and not be able to compete at full strength.
And then the Panthers had a 1st and goal at the 4, Moose, and now they're back on the 14 after 2 penalties. So you see how much that Davis run meant to Carolina. 2nd down on the 14, and the handoff to Nick Goings, and Nick Goings getting down to the 5-yard line, and that will present a 3rd down and goal at the 5-yard line.
You hear a lot about the 8-man fronts and walking safeties down into the box. Here he comes right here, but what do you do in that situation? You let the outside guy go free. Go get the 8th man, block him up, let the guy farthest away from the play go free. They slip Nick Goings up inside for a nice gain.
So now a big play. Do the Rams stop the Panthers from getting 6 and holding them to a field goal? And it's going to be a shuffle pass, and the ball is loose.
It wasn't a shuffle pass, that was backwards.
And the ball is going to be recovered near the goal line. And the Panthers are saying it's a touchdown if they recover it, if the ball is over the goal line. And it is.
Nope.
Was an official sign given here. The Panthers are coming off the field. It was a lateral to Deshaun Foster. And it's a touchdown. Mohsin Muhammad recovers in the end zone for a touchdown. And it was a very sloppy lateral to Deshaun Foster, but all ends up, it was deflected, as a matter of fact, by a Ram, and it wound up in the end zone for the touchdown. A bizarre play here.
Well, Jake Delhomme's got to realize right there that that play is dead in the water. Don't do anything else right now. Just get down, kick your field goal. Very fortunate to get this ball back. Mohsin Muhammad, what a great job coming in and getting it. He does all the dirty work. He cracks on the receivers. We're going to get a challenge here to see
if he
lateral. Actually, no, we're actually going to see if he was in the end zone when he recovered the ball, I think.
And of course, they can look at the whole play. Here's Mike Carey.
The ruling on the field is a backwards pass. It's being challenged by St. Louis.
So the Rams are challenging, saying it was a forward pass.
After reviewing the play, although the ball was not forward, the initial movement of the quarterback hand was parallel, making a backwards pass. That makes the touchdown legal. St. Louis will be charged with their first team timeout.
And the crowd displeased with it, and Mike Marc, but it was the right call. And remember also on any of these plays, and there was one recently in the playoffs, that if you throw a pass and it is parallel, that is the same as being a backward pass.
You see John Fox, there's the happy side of that result. They have not done a whole lot right up until this point and find themselves an extra point away from taking the lead.
And you remember, Stephen Davis is in the locker room with a strained quad after running 64 yards, and here he is coming back out on the field. So he was questionable as to his return, but he looks better than that as he trots back to the Panthers bench. And here's John Kasay.
He sees this scenario right now. He knows his team's going for the lead right now. He'll get a little bit more pep in his step, and that quad won't feel so bad.
John Kasay with the extra point, and it's good. Panthers in front of the Rams, 7-6. And John Kasay will kick off, and there is the scoring drive. 88 yards, 64 thanks to Stephen Davis, and the first career postseason touchdown for Mohsin Muhammad. And Muhammad, along with John Kasay, are the only players left from the last time that the Panthers were in postseason back in 1996. Arlen Harris is back deep.
And you got to have guys like Mohsin Muhammad right there, just the hustle to never give up on that play, and what a huge momentum swing that was.
Rookie Arlen Harris, been an outstanding kick returner, bringing this one back. And Harris is knocked out of bounds at the 31. So as the ebb and flow goes now with a flag down on the field, the question right now is, you know, after the Panthers held them the field goals, they get a touchdown. How does this team react?
How does St. Louis respond to this adversity that they faced in the beginning of this game? Because you mentioned in the beginning, this was a very, very confident group. They really should be up 14-0 right now. If they're doing the things that they do so well here at home, they find themselves down 7-6. We'll see what the response is now.
So a penalty, and Mike Carey will sort it out.
During the return, personal foul, major face mask by the kicking team, number 30, on an opponent. 15 yards from the dead ball.
It's like
spot.
Mike Minter, number 30. Right there. And that's going to cost the Panthers, who have had already a turnover. An interception by Tommy Polley, and the Rams getting 3 out of that one, and a whole host of penalties. And now the Rams, you don't want to give them this kind of field position on first down. And last week, 0-0 in penalties like the Rams have, and now already with 5. Manu Maliuna, the tight end, going in motion, first down, and the pass is caught by Cleeland, Cameron Cleeland, the backup tight end, with the reception down the middle, and a first down at the 25, good for 28 yards.
What do you do to try and slow this offense down? You've got Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk, and here's a big play by Cam Cleeland down the middle of the field from the tight end spot. So just so many weapons, and Marc Bulger knows where to throw the ball. He reads the defense, what the coverage is, and all the receivers know this too. It dictates where the ball is going to be thrown, so you've got to worry about everybody that's out on that route because he doesn't have go-to people.
And another flag has been thrown, and Bulger talking things over with Mike Carey.
Illegal substitution, 12 men in the huddle on the Los Angeles, St. Louis. 5 yards, first down.
Well, we'll call it the Rams in any event. That's what they were. They were in Cleveland once, you know, before they went to Los Angeles. For you historians. And
don't date yourself, Mr.
Yeah,
Stock.
penalty. Well, no, I don't remember those. That's before even my time. And Mike March shaking his head. Illegal substitution. The Rams are renowned for having a lot of people in a huddle during a timeout and then sending them out just to see what the defense will do.
It's okay if they're passing like ships passing in the night as they go back and forth, but you can't have 12 guys in that huddle altogether.
First down and now 15 on the Panther 31. Cleeland in motion, and it's Cleeland, and the pass is thrown over. It is an incomplete pass. Julius Peppers got a hand on it, and I have to say so far, Moose, that Marc Bulger has been getting good protection against this defensive group.
He really has, and you know, this is just a quick screen. That's just great athletic ability by Julius Peppers, because they're just going to slow him down a little bit at the initial part of the play, but then the tackle has to get out and get in front of the screen. And when you've got a guy that's as fast and as athletic as these defensive ends are today, you got to hold him just a little bit longer than that.
Julius Peppers with an interception and a touchdown against the Cowboys. Second down and 15. Here's Faulk. And Marshall Faulk straight ahead, just about getting back to the original line of scrimmage, picking up 5. Dan Morgan.
One of the things that John Fox was going to do to get a read on how Mike March was going to approach this game, he was going to look at these personnel groups at the bottom there. 2 running backs, a tight end, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 wide receivers. Traditional running formations with the ability to throw play action. But if he was not seeing those multiple wide receiver groups, you know, he knows what direction Coach March is going to go. But this is not what he anticipated. He anticipated to see some more empty sets, some more 3 and 4 wide receivers.
And he may still see them. Third down and 10, and here comes the blitz from deep in the secondary, and this pass sitting down to make the catch is Torrey Holt for the first down. That's all he had to do, is sit down, make the grab, and a pickup of 13 yards despite the pressure.
Here comes the pressure here, then you've got a late blitzer coming in, real late right there. Marc Bulger does a good job of buying time, throwing as he's drifting backwards off his back foot. Look how long that play took to develop. That is the one thing that Carolina cannot afford to do. They can't let these longer developing routes get downfield and have an opportunity for these guys to make a catch. They have got to get to Marc Bulger quicker than that.
There was no way the secondary guy was going to get to him. And there's the pass caught by Isaac Bruce, and he goes out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Only a 3-yard gain, and the crowd chanting Bruce as Isaac Bruce back in action again, as he has missed most of the last 3 games with a high ankle sprain, and Mike March telling us he didn't think he was that much 100%.
No, I don't think he's all the way back yet. And you see right there, there's your conservative approach against that wide open style. 10+ yards per attempt for the Rams and just a little over 3 for the Panthers. But this is the area of the field where things have gone wrong for the St. Louis Rams today. They've got to punch the ball in the end zone on this drive.
And they have 4 wide receivers, and they'll call a timeout. That's the second timeout. Second down and 7 from the 10-yard line, and there's the shuffle pass to Marshall Faulk. Nothing doing. And 1-yard gain on the play. Julius Peppers, and a flag is down. No penalty there.
Oh, this is just a great play by Julius Peppers. He soft plays it on the outside and then just comes crashing back down in. Here he is all the way out here on the outside. Watch him soft play. They're coming my way. Gets rid of the blocker. Marshall Faulk didn't have a chance. He had to concentrate on the ball.
Building the foundation of this defense around Julius Peppers, who is a basketball player at the University of North Carolina as well. 3rd down and 6. And another big play for the Rams offense, and there is Bulger in trouble. Now he gets free, and he's tackled at the 6'5", Brinson Buckner. And that will bring up 4th down, and it was pressure from the tackle, Chris Jenkins, that allowed the Panthers to get him.
Yeah, but the initial thing is here. Watch the speed by Julius Peppers upfield right there. That forces Marc Bulger to go back up inside. Then they had a game bringing Chris Jenkins in a loop back to the other side. The offensive line didn't pass the game. They're starting to generate that pressure with just the down 4.
How effective when you have 4 players who can pass rush?
You can't double all those guys. I mean, you've only got 5 offensive linemen. You know, 4 times 2 is 8. That's not going to work up there. It's just amazing when you watch this line work together. They are all great pass rushers.
Jeff Wilkins with another chip shot. This one from 24 yards out, but that's not what the Rams are looking for. John Fox has to be delighted. Rod Smart back deep. Jeff Wilkins to kick. And at this point, you have to say the Panthers are staying in there. And it is a short kick. And it's Brad Hoover, the Panther fullback. And he carries it on beyond the 40-yard line. So already the crowd getting a bit anxious here as the Panthers trail by 2 points and start out with good field position here with 6:54 on the clock in the second.
And what they have done is they have taken this crowd out of it. They have definitely quieted them down with their red zone defense, holding them to field goals. You had the big run by Stephen Davis, the fortunate play to get that touchdown.
And Deshaun Foster, by the way, comes out at the running back spot behind Jake Delhomme. On the Panther 41, they go to Deshaun Foster trying to turn the corner, and a superb play by Adam Archuleta. And he's like a wild card in this defensive unit. Archuleta making the play and a loss of 1 yard.
It's just amazing the speed of this defense, and you're going to see Adam Archuleta. He's going to drop into the front right there, but he makes the play all the way onto the other side of the field. This is not a finesse team. This is just a very fast, aggressive style of defense and a wide open, speed on the outside offensive game plan.
And the crowd pipes up now as they see 2nd down and a long. They need 11 yards, and again they go to Foster. Foster breaking one and is stopped and really hit hard just shy of midfield after picking up 9 with Travis Fisher and Aeneas Williams making the tackle.
And Tony talked about that the holes are not really that big, but they're hitting them right at the right time, right as the blocks are being made. You see Chris Mangum right there. As soon as that block is being made, Deshaun Foster is right on his hip, and he does not need a lot of room, and he's exploding through.
3rd down and 2. And Nick Goings is lining up as the back. And Jake Delhomme to throw, and Muhammad makes the catch and carries a couple of defenders down to the 26-yard line. And it was quite a ride for Jeremetrius Butler. And Jason Sehorn, and a 24-yard gain silences the throng.
Oh, what a great throw. Watch at the end of this route. Jeremetrius Butler is in good position, but the ball is delivered on the back shoulder. The one thing he didn't do was get his head around to see when the ball was coming. He's got to read the wide receiver's eyes, and as soon as he looks back, he's got to check too and make sure that ball's not coming, because Jake put it in the only spot that Nassim Muhammad could catch it, and that was on his back shoulder.
And a pretty solid physical receiver is Muhsin Muhammad. 1st down on the 27. Deshaun Foster back in the game, gets the call, and up the middle, and he charges his way, and not a bad gain out of the 20. He got 7 yards. So Foster in the lineup for Stephen Davis, and it'll be 2nd down and 3 as Davis remains on the sideline. No word whether he'll return.
Take a look right there at Carolina's. They're able to get it done with their rushing game. You see it's 100 yards rushing, 100 yards passing for St. Louis. Both these teams going with their strengths during this game today, forcing the opposition to try and stop what they do best.
2 tight ends and 2 receivers to the right. And here is Foster. Foster with speed around the outside will have the first down. A flag is down as he is pushed out of bounds by Jason Sehorn. But there's a penalty.
I think we're going to have holding on Kevin Donnelly.
Holding. Offense number 65.
Right on it, Moose.
10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
He does everything right on this play, but once the defender starts to turn to run, he's got to let him go. He gets out there, comes all the way through on the pole. You'll see 65 right there. He gets his arm on the outside. Now, when he turns the pole, he's got to let go. He can't hook him and turn him like that. The referees are right there. When you have runs on the perimeter and you get your arms outside, when that defender turns to release, you got to let him go right now.
And a bad penalty when you picked up the first down. Rod Smart has entered the game for his first possession on the offensive side, and it's play action, and Jake Delhomme gets some time, and his pass, and another flag down intended for Jermaine Wiggins, the tight end, and we'll have a defensive holding call, and this
Automatic first
should give
down.
the Panthers a first down, right?
Holding. Defense number 52. 5-yard penalty.
So Tommy Polley was held, and
First
now
down.
he holds himself.
You got Carolina in a second and long situation. The one thing you can't do is allow them to have a free first down. I mean, that's an easy call right there. It's beyond the point where you can have illegal contact. You got a handful of jersey. I mean, you're trying to force them to get into a situation where they're not comfortable, and that's second and long and third and long. You can't have a careless mistake to get them back into the flow.
It looked like Velcro there, the way he was holding onto his jersey. First down at the 24 with 3:37 on the clock. Stoppage of play in the conference, and might have had to do with the clocks. Panthers using a variety of running backs after Davis got hurt. Foster going Smart, and Foster is back in there. On first down, here's Deshaun Foster turning the corner and cutting with another flag down. We may have another holding call as Foster goes out of bounds, very nearly picking up the first down.
Personal foul. Major face mask on the offense number 65 against the opponent. 15-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Hey, this Panther team shooting themselves in the foot with penalties on very nearly every play, especially when they are in Ram territory. Kevin Donnelly called for the personal foul.
You know, sometimes the hand just gets up in the face mask, but you just got to get it cleared off. And, you know, it's part of the game, and, you know, those are some of the penalties that frustrate you as a coach because they have to be part of the game. You see Steve Smith, the job he was doing blocking right there. You get a great play, but it's coming back. You just got to play smart. If you're starting to do something wrong, get the handoff. You saw the hold. Once the defender rolls to the outside, get your handoff. Once you get it on his face mask, get your handoff.
Last three plays, Panthers committing 2 fouls, and right now they are out of field goal range. Here's the screen to Rod Smart, and Smart looking for running room, and guess what? Another flag is down.
I think Kevin Donnelly's got another one.
That was a 3-yard pickup, pending the call.
Holding. Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
So you're right, another penalty on Kevin Donnelly.
It's a screen pass, and one of the things that you can't do on a screen pass is throw the defender to the ground. Kevin Donnelly's inside right there. He's got Ryan Pickett. He can't throw him to the ground right there. It's a rule that was put in place the beginning of this season. They talked about it at training camp. You saw the video. You just got to be smart. Right now, Kevin Donnelly is not playing smart.
Rams leading 9-7. And at this point, if nothing else, the Panthers have prevented the Rams from pulling away. Five receivers. And Jake Delhomme completes to Muhsin Muhammad, and he gets a chunk of that back as they advance it to the 37-yard line, picking up 13. Fisher was defending on the play.
And that's what they've got to do. They've got to try and get this back in chunks because, as Tony pointed out, they're out of field goal range right now. You can't give up points when you were at the 20-yard line at one point. You find yourself all the way back to midfield. If you get the first down, fantastic. But you know what? Make sure you're getting some chunks, and you give John Kasay an opportunity to try a field goal.
Panthers have had the slight edge in ball control. Second down and 23 on the 37 of the Rams. Deshaun Foster on the handoff. And a good tackle made by Pisatino Isamoa, the rookie from Hawaii, who this year, with his play, allowed Robert Thomas to move to the inside. A pickup of 3.
Yeah, they've got such an athletic group of linebackers, and then you've got Adam Archuleta, who drops in there quite a bit, who's basically another linebacker.
2 minutes remaining in the first half, and the Ram fans seeing the Carolina Panthers shake off some early problems, but their defense was stalwart, limiting the Rams to 2 field goals instead of touchdowns, coming back with a crazy score of their own. And it's 9-7. It'll be 3rd down and 20 on the 34, and right now we're looking at a 52 or 53-yard field goal for John Kasay.
And that's the importance of this play right here. It's going to be difficult to convert for your first down. St. Louis is going to guard that first down line, take something underneath for about 12 or 13 yards, kick the field goal, and have the opportunity to possibly go in at halftime up 10-9.
So here's the play, and it's a handoff to Deshaun Foster, and Foster going outside will get to the 27-yard line with Archuleta making the tackle, and that is more than enough for the Panthers to set up a good field goal situation. And John Kasay will come out to try a 45-yarder. Kasay started out red hot, then had a big slump. In fact, missed 3 field goals and a conversion against the Eagles, which might have cost the Panthers the game, and has made 12 in a row since the Philadelphia disaster. And the Panthers still have 1 timeout remaining.
And there's that lull that you were talking about, Dick, right there. Perfect 18 for 18. Then he finishes the season 12 for 12, but that stretch, games 10 through 12. And we had them at Philadelphia, and he was out of sync. And John Fox talked it, he likened it to a golfer losing his swing in the middle of a round.
And Kasay's kick, and it's good. And just barely made it as he nearly hooked it, but it was inside the right upright, and the field goal is good, giving the Panthers a 10-9 lead. They had led 7-6 on Muhammad's fumble recovery for the touchdown, and now lead by 1 with 1:07 on the clock. Tell you, Panthers were 1-15 2 years ago.
I think John Fox may be looking for a roughing the kicker right there. You see Jeremetrius Butler go by and hit his foot. More running into the kicker. That would have just been 5 yards, and they would have had to tee it up again. I don't think you would have gotten roughing the kicker with the automatic first down on that one, but they didn't even get a flag down.
Well, it's a good thing to keep your leg extended just in case that kick was no good, you know, and you might get the call. John Fox, and when the Panthers were 1-15 a couple of years ago, they had actually lost 15 straight games in George Seifert's last year. They won their opening game, dropped 15, and then John Fox, who was the defensive coordinator, got the job. 7-9 record, but they finished strong. And this year, really were never challenged in the NFC South.
And I don't know how those guys survived that season. I went through a 1-15 season, but our win was right in the middle of the year. I can't imagine losing 15 weeks in a row.
Kasay kicking off, and Arlen Harris on the return from the 4-yard line. And Harris with a good move and winds up beyond the 30-yard line.
Important for the Carolina defense to finish the half right here. This is a wide open offensive system. Mike Marc is he's a gambler. I mean, this is not over right now. You're not going to go in. They've got to finish this half and hold this lead.
Looking to throw and getting time. Caught by Dane Looker, who's crunched hard by Reggie Howard, picking up 7 yards. And lining up as the clock continues to run.
Again, we're seeing Marc Bulger reading low to high. There's Dane Looker right there. Runs the little hook route. He shuts it down, gets him the ball. He had Torrey Holt over the top with a possibility to get the ball there, but he's reading low to high this afternoon as opposed to high to low like he normally does.
Rams calling their third and final timeout. They lost one as a result of the challenge earlier by Mike Martz. And also keep in mind that Martz only has one more challenge the rest of the game. But this game is, despite all of the problems that the Panthers have had and the turnover and letting the Rams come down the field, have to like the scenario right now. If you would have said to John Fox, you're in a position to have a 1-point lead or a close game at the half, he said, I take it.
Absolutely. The one thing they couldn't have were big plays, easy touchdowns in this first half. The longer they stay in a game like this, the more confident they're going to be, and the more difficult it'll be for the Rams to get back on track.
Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce have a total of 3 catches between them. Second down and 3. And Bulger getting a lot of time and goes down, and it's Julius Peppers with the sack. So Peppers, who had 7 on the year, 5 fewer than in his rookie year, and a loss of 10 yards.
Here's the guy that makes the play right here. It's going to be a screen to Marshall Faulk. He's going to chop him, but look, he knows right away. He comes back. That's great film study right there by Mike Rucker. He knows what play is coming out the back door. He gets in front of Marshall Faulk, keeps him down on the ground, and Marc Bulger has nowhere to go with the football.
And the clock running down here. It'll be 3rd down and 13. The Rams back on their 28. First sack of the game, and with a 3-man rush, here is the shovel pass to Mike Furry, and that'll do it. And the crowd is going to let the Rams know how they feel about this first half. Remember, this team was 8-0 this year and have won 14 straight at home, but they trail here. At the end of the first half, Panthers 10, Rams 9. And there's Arlen Harris, who will return the second half kickoff from John Kasay. And you saw Stephen Davis walking back from the locker room. He had come back relatively quickly after the injury, but he has not come close to getting back in the game and doesn't look as if he's ready to come back in at all. So the Panthers are going to have to use their committee of running backs the rest of the way unless Davis does get back in. The short kick by Kasay, returned by Arlen Harris, and he is hit and knocked down at the 25. Marshall Faulk and Joey Goodspeed in the I formation. First down at the 25, and here is Faulk, and Marshall brings it out, picking up 5 yards on the play. Faulk gained 30 yards and 8 carries in the first half.
Well, John Fox's goal coming into the game was to limit the St. Louis Rams offense to 2 possessions per quarter, and you see right there in the first half he was able to do that. So it'll be interesting to see how the second half unfolds. And Tony talked about it. I think as the game wears on, more and more pressure shifts onto the St. Louis Rams shoulders.
You got to watch this crowd could turn on them too, because this isn't what the scenario was expected. And here is the toss again to Faulk, and nothing doing on the play. And that time Will Witherspoon, number 54, the outside linebacker, who actually can speak 4 languages. His father was a military officer, and German, Arabic, Swedish, and English. I don't know if he's fluent in all of them, but he can speak them. He doesn't have to call the signals to the rest of the defense.
All of a sudden, some starts coming out in Swedish or another language.
3rd down and 6 from the 29. Rams have only converted 1 of 5 when they've had the 3rd down, and there's the toss, and it's caught by Mike Furry in stride. And a first down short of the 40-yard line.
Well, they came off the blitz. Here goes your blitzer right there. They run a little cross-up pattern with that bunch package. Very difficult for Dante Wesley to find his way through all those players crisscrossing in front of him, and Mike Furry's able to make the catch for the first down.
Those short passes like that, guys, is where the defense line has to get their hands up and tip some balls. They can get involved in plays like that.
And both teams talked about getting tip balls. These quarterbacks, they said, were not tall, but actually one is 6'2", the other is 6'3". That's not bad. First down, and on the play action, there's a pass down the middle. Isaac Bruce had beaten Terry Cousin and got behind him, and a pickup of 25 into Panther territory.
It's becoming execution for the St. Louis Rams because the Carolina defenders are in good position. Terry Cousin has got him short, and here comes Deion Grant again, like we saw in the first half. He's coming in from the deep safety position, and Marc Bulger just drops in a perfect pass between the 2 defenders.
There's Terry Cousin, who had been the starter at cornerback And then he was injured, and Ricky Manning came in, and even when Cousin was all right, Manning started against the Cowboys last week and again today. First down from the 37. Rams trying to get a rhythm on offense here, and this pass to the out, and it's knocked away, incomplete. Bruce, the intended receiver, covered by Manning. Now let's take a look at some of the leaders offensively for the Rams, and you talk about 9 points. You don't have a lot of leaders in that department.
No, but you see how efficient Marc Bulger is being, and then look at the number of touches for Marshall Faulk. Only 8 rushes in the first half, and that's because John Fox was able to do what he wanted, 2 possessions per quarters. And then you see right there, Julius Peppers leading the way with 4 tackles and a sack. Reggie Howard playing well in the secondary. And Dan Morgan, that was a guy that they missed during the course of the season with some concussions. He's their speed guy from sideline to sideline.
By the way, Marshall Faulk has only 1 reception at this point. 2nd and 10 on the 37 of the Panthers. And here is Faulk trying to turn the corner, and Witherspoon slowed him up, and finally picking up 4 yards with Reggie Howard forcing the play.
Good job by the Carolina defenders getting off the blocks. They're not staying on the blocks. Keep stringing it out wider and wider. As you're moving down the line of scrimmage, you're going to see guys get freed up. You'll see Will Witherspoon, number 54, comes up with Andy McCollum right there, fights through that block, gets off it, and then on the outside, Reggie Howard gets off the block by Dane Looker.
Remember, the Panthers have made a living of being successful in close games. They have 7 victories by 3 points or fewer. 3/4 of their games decided by 6 points or less. And there is the slant, and it's nothing doing, incomplete. Dane Looker covered by Terry Cousin. Crowd looking for a flag, none coming, and it's 4th down. So right now the Rams have fizzled, and in their first possession of the second half are stopped, and Jeff Wilkins will come in. He has been the offense today for the Rams with his 3 field goals. Moving the ball very well in the field, but when they get down towards that red zone, all of a sudden things aren't clicking as well as they are from 30 to 30. 51-yard field goal attempt. Dane Looker will be the holder. So far, Wilkins has had just short field goals. This is his first long one. It appears long enough, and it's good. Spirit of St. Louis. And this is great. One of the fans, son Greg, in Iraq. There's his picture. And our thoughts and prayers with him and the troops with him. Wilkins tying the postseason record with a 51-yard field goal as Rod Smart on the return, and the Rams with their best coverage on the kickoff today. Panthers start from the 17, and with Davis on the bench, Deshaun Foster in his second year was a second-round pick out of UCLA, has to shoulder most of the burden. He has gained 30 yards and 7 carries, averaging over 4, and a pass to Hoover, the fullback, on first down, who makes a nice grab and has the first down for the Panthers.
Come on, Moose, fullback got to play. Give us something, baby.
You got to love it. That's the way to start the half. You look at Jake Delhomme, he's been efficient. The 1 interception, he was baited into a fire zone when Tommy Polley pulled out. They tried to run a hot route into that area. Stephen Davis, though, stick with what does best. He's got the big run, got him back in this game.
Hot rod, fire zone, you getting ready for NASCAR, my buddy. Huh? First down at the 28.
I know how much you like all the real concise things about the game.
Yeah. Another play action. And there is Delhomme completing the pass to Smith, and he's got another first down and does not get out of bounds, just shy of the 40-yard line. Butler on the coverage at 12 yards. This team very confident now on both sides of the ball.
And Steve Smith is such a dangerous receiver. You have to respect his speed, and you see Jeremitrius Butler right there. That's what he's doing. He's kind of bailing out. Steve shuts it down, and that's how he creates his separation. Sometimes it's not so fast or how fast you run, it's how fast you stop.
Now look at those numbers when his team is trailing, which it is right now. Jake Delhomme, first down on the Carolina 40, handoff to Foster. Deshaun Foster gets by a defender and finally dragged down. And very close to a face mask, but not. 18 yards. Adam Archuleta forcing the play, missed Foster initially, and then he got inside Ram territory.
And this is good vision by Deshaun Foster right here. This play designed to go to the right side. You see the cutback right there, and then he makes, I think that was Adam Archuleta missing there in the hole, gets back to the outside. But you see the vision right there, the patience, feels the block coming from the outside by Muhsin Muhammad and cuts back to the outside.
So Deshaun Foster in a pinch-hitting role, making the most of his opportunity. And a first down at the 43. Foster getting some running room, and he dives and wends his way to the 37. The two safeties make the tackle, and there is Stephen Davis, who is relegated to cheerleader role now.
And one thing that the St. Louis Ram defense has to be aware of, they've got a guy in there who's got a little bit different running style than Stephen Davis. Stephen Davis is a downhill runner. He'll get through some tight seams, make his big plays. He's got sneaky speed to the outside, but he doesn't want to always be out there. Deshaun Foster, he's going to look to bounce the ball and get on the outside. They've got to adjust to the different style of running back they're going to face the rest of the afternoon. And
he did start 2 games when Davis couldn't play because of an ankle injury. Second down and 3 from the 37. Nick Goings, who's a good receiver, is in there and taking a shot to Smith. And good coverage by Jeremetrius Butler downfield. So 3rd down and 4 ensuing for the Carolina Panthers.
And this offense has done a good job all game of answering St. Louis every time they start to build a little bit of momentum. The crowd starts to get back into it. All of a sudden, that Carolina offense comes out. Sometimes they're not getting points from the drives, but they're avoiding the 3 and outs and the quick turnarounds. They're taking some time off the clock, letting their defense rest, and quieting down this crowd as they reestablish field position.
Ball control has been about even. So 3rd and 4. And the first back through is Nick Goings, and he's not going to make it. He'll be stopped 1.5 yards shy of the first down. And a good defensive play that time by Tyoka Jackson and Brian Young. So 4th down, and John Kasay will come in to try a long one.
And those guys inside are the guys that Lovie Smith needed a big afternoon from. Everybody knows about Grant Wistrom and Leonard Little on the outside, but Ryan Pickett and Damian Lewis and Brian Young, Tyoka Jackson, they needed to have a big afternoon down inside.
This will be a 52-yarder. 52-yarder with Sauerbrunn, the punter, holding. And Casey's kick, and it'll be good.
John Kasay just enough on that last kick. Here comes the ball. Might have been able to sneak it in from 53.5, but not much more.
As it is, it's a postseason record for Carolina, which sounds good when you say it, but this is not a team with a storied history in football. They've been only in one postseason. That was in '96, but they did get to the NFC Championship game. Here's Arlen Harris returning Casey's kick, and Harris trying to break a couple of tackles and does, and an outstanding return. First down, and pressure put on Bulger by Mike Minter. So the safety blitz, and now they can send a few.
Yeah, one of the few times this afternoon that they have got the pressure. You see Joey Goodspeed, number 44. He's on a free release. Marc Bulger told us, I'm going to read low to high. He sees that pressure to the right side. Dump it off to your fullback quick, because that is a long developing route down the field. He did a good job in the first half in those situations of getting the ball out quick to his underneath guys.
2nd and 10 at the 39, and right now this crowd is blah as far as their enthusiasm is concerned, considering how it started with all the fireworks and a penalty and a false start.
Offense number 81.
Torrey Holt.
5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Looking to move before the snap, so another flag. 2nd down and 15. Back to the 34, and right now Mike Martz says, look, I'm in a huge tug-of-war game against the team that is living on outstanding defense and ball control. That's not a good sign.
Well, and they haven't played a perfect game. Last week against Dallas, they played a nearly flawless game and were able to win that game. Today, they have not played like that. They are doing things, and they're gaining confidence as this game wears on, because there are certain situations that are not going the way they hoped when they came here to St. Louis.
2nd and 15, good protection that time, but going the other way on the pattern was Isaac Bruce. Well, you saw Kurt Warner over on the sideline. He started the year, got hurt in the first game against the Giants, and didn't play again until mop-up work against the Lions in Week 17. And in talking to Mike Martz, he said, look, I don't expect to make a change, but it has to be that Marc Bulger is just not getting it done, that the problem is his problem for me to make a change and go to Warner.
And Kurt Warner has handled this whole situation very classy. And in the Arizona game when Marc Bulger had 4 interceptions, Mike Martz went to him and said, "Are you ready?" And he said, "Hey, if this is your guy for the future, you got to stay with him and let him work through games like this."
Classy move by Warner, and
there
it's
you go.
Up there, and there he is, and making the catch and dropping it. Torrey Holt had it and couldn't hold on, and the Rams won't get a better opportunity.
It was one of those plays, you set it up all afternoon. Don't know what happened to Deion Grant. He was sitting on something, and this is almost a fantastic catch by Torrey Holt, but he just can't pull it in.
This is 6. Easy.
And they need a big play. They need one of their marquee guys, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk. One of these guys has to step up and make a play like that to jumpstart this crowd and get their confidence back.
And the Rams are punting for the first time. Sean Landetta, who turned 42 this past week, and his first kick to Steve Smith, and the fair catch.
Torrey Holt knows he missed a chance right there, having a little bit of laugh on the sideline, but that's the response you got to have. You let that play go. You don't let it affect you the rest of the afternoon. Hopefully you get another opportunity to get your team on top.
Bobby April, the special teams coach, hugged him. I didn't see Mike Martz around there.
That's why he went over to the bench. He wasn't anywhere near the sideline.
First down at the 20. And movement at the line. And Todd Stussy might have flinched.
Offense number 75, 5-yard penalty.
So the veteran Todd Stussy with a 5-yard penalty.
And I tell you, Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator, that's the one thing that just drives him crazy. And he knows that it's loud in here, but when it's one guy, you don't have a leg to stand on. You know, coach, you know, it was loud. The guy in front of me flinched. Everything was going on. And Dan Henning will just look at him and go, "You were the only one of the 11 that moved. I don't want to hear any excuses."
The others didn't. Back to the 15, first down and 15, and here's Deshaun Foster looking for running room. And Foster brings it out to the 22-yard line, a gain of 7 with Ryan Pickett making the tackle. And even if the Panthers don't get a first down and use up some time and kick, this is the kind of game that John Fox doesn't mind playing at this juncture.
No, he wants to be in a field goal game that's based on field position. And they can't go 3 and outs, though. They've got to move the ball. They've got to get a couple first downs before they punt. Otherwise, it starts to tip towards St. Louis's favor because they're gradually going to establish field position and get the ball closer and closer to Carolina territory.
And the pitch to Foster cutting upfield.
What a great cut.
And a flag is down. Deshaun Foster will be pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line by Jason Sehorn, but there was a flag right about the line of scrimmage. And this will be against the Panthers and will nullify a 13-yard pickup. They have had more yards come back on them with penalties than we've seen in quite a while here.
There's no foul for offensive holding. All of the action was legal. Third down.
So no foul, and the Panthers were going back and...
Well, it's not a third down. It's got to be first down, doesn't it?
It is a 13-yard gain, and it's a first down to the 35. I think the Panthers automatically thought it was going to be holding. They went way back to about the 10-yard line.
Well, I don't know why they felt everything was legal, because they did signal holding on Carolina. They were all moving back in their huddle. But Mike Carey came in, and they sorted everything out. And you know that guy's not going to be real happy right there. He wants an explanation. Somebody tell me why that was legal.
Well, the Panthers will take it. Nick Goings is in the backfield. And the handoff to Goings. Quick move, and the Panthers may have another first down. Very close to the sticks at the 45-yard line.
Stephen Davis is out. Deshaun Foster's running well. Now Nick Goings. Look at the little hesitation right there. Gives an outside move, freezes everybody, and then gets back in behind Geno James to the right side, and there's nobody there. And when you're substituting for a guy who's injured, the last thing you can do is put the ball on the ground. Nick Goings gets it secured before he gets tackled.
And of course, Tony, he's a Pitt guy, you know. Nick Goings in his 3rd year from the University of Pittsburgh.
Another Pitt guy, huh? They don't want to talk to me anymore. I don't send them any money. Unlike you guys at Syracuse.
Speak for yourself. Short by that much. But I'll tell you what. Davis goes out. with the quad injury in the second quarter, and Foster and Goings have gained 74 yards between them.
And what they're doing, and they did it to Dallas last week on a 3rd and 10. Stephen Davis had a 23-yard touchdown run. They are running in what you would think were obvious passing situations, and they're catching the St. Louis Rams defense off guard.
2nd down and 1. Actually less.
See if Dan Henning wants to take a shot down the field, try and get a big play here.
And they'll go to Goings, 1st down, as he crosses the 45-yard line, and Stephen Davis can only watch and applaud as the Carolina Panthers, who were 5-3 on the road, and they showed their mettle in winning in dome stadiums. They beat the Saints. Maybe that wasn't a great achievement, but winning in New Orleans is never easy. But how about beating the Indianapolis Colts when the Colts were undefeated, winning there? Deshaun Foster checking in, 1st down. Panthers on their 46. Play action. And out of the backfield, dropping the ball wide open, was Foster.
You can see right there, they know that they have to do everything right. I mean, you just can't be careless. You know, look the ball in, turn. Don't look to go downfield before you've got that ball secured on your side.
Carolina Panthers lead the St. Louis Rams 13-12. Panthers looking for an upset on the road, where the Rams have won, dating back to last year, 14 consecutive games here at Edward Jones Dome. Pressure up the middle, and good protection, and the pass is caught by Steve Smith, and a 1st down. The Panthers did a brilliant job of picking up the pressure, and a 20-yard pickup to the 34-yard line.
Because all the pressure is coming straight up the middle. They actually got stuck behind each other. Adam Archuleta got stuck right behind Tommy Polley. They got stacked up on top of each other. One guy blocks 2. That gives them time to find Steve Smith. Carolina does a nice job of being able to pick up a max blitz situation, get their 2 receivers out on extended routes, and get the ball delivered.
He's not a shy guy, you know, Steve Smith.
He just needs to get some confidence. If he had a little more confidence.
Got to break out of that shell. Deshaun Foster cutting inside is tripped up after picking up a couple by Jeremetrius Butler.
I'll tell you what Foster does really good, guys. It didn't look like it on that play, but he waits for the play to develop. He waits for his blockers, whoever's pulling or whoever's in front of him, to go and get latched on the defensive lineman, and then he makes his cut. He's got great vision. I'm here in the end zone watching him. Both him and Goodings are doing a great job.
And one of the things you talk about when it's patience by a runner is allowing those blocks to develop and actually trying to help set him up. Take that outside move, get that guy to go over the top, allow your offensive lineman a better angle, and then cut back in behind him.
2nd down and 9. And plenty of time, and this time holding on to it is Deshaun Foster, and he gets by one defender and goes out of bounds. So it was Travis Fisher who missed a tackle, and the Rams are missing several tackles today, and Foster picking up 8 yards and close to another 1st down by about a yard short.
And he makes good on the last pass he dropped. You see Jake Delhomme doing a good job of finding Deshaun Foster underneath. One thing you don't want to do against St. Louis is get caught running east and west. And at the end of that run, I don't like Deshaun Foster not getting to the flag. You're going to see he's going to go out of bounds about a half a yard short. He's got to know where that 1st down marker is. Right now, dive for it. Don't hesitate and try and make a move. Dive for that 1st down.
So it's 3rd and 1. Quarterback sneak and a 1st down. Jake Delhomme carries it for the 1st down, and the ball control story, time of possession, have been even, but now the Panthers are opening up an edge of about 5 minutes on the Rams as we get to the latter stages of this 3rd quarter, and this team has rushed, the Panthers have, for 187 yards already.
In the run defense of the St. Louis Rams, they have gone up against some good running backs this year and done a good job. With Jamal Lewis a little over 100 yards. They really shut down Amon Green. Nobody really hurt them until today, and it's been a combination since Stephen Davis has gone out of Nick Goings, Deshaun Foster, and then the yardage that Stephen Davis put up before his quad injury.
Foster has 75 himself and a chance for more. And he gets a couple more as Archuleta makes the stop as we get close to 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. And continuing ball control and already within the solid range for field goal kicker John Kasay.
One of Lovie Smith's big problems was all the different styles of runs. This is a wham block right here. Your offensive linemen make that nose tackle flinch. Here comes your fullback or tight end to crack. What that came about was when Dan Henning was in Washington and they found that the smaller linemen couldn't stand up as these defensive tackles got bigger. So what they would do is go out and get the big linemen, allow them to push and protect, and then trap with their tight ends and fullbacks.
Pittsburgh Steelers were a great trapping team when they dominated. And there is Delhomme's pass and way over the head of Steve Smith. 3rd down and 9. The ball on the 22 of the Rams. 12th play of this drive. And Delhomme has a wide open Brad Hoover. He's not going to get the first down as he has stopped at the 16. Good play by Jeremetrius Butler, but John Kasay will enter to try to add to the Carolina lead.
And we talked about Jake Delhomme as that game manager style quarterback, but the big thing is just not giving points away. I'm not a big fan of that phrase, but what it is being smart when you get into the red zone. And this is a team that is very comfortable getting into a game like this where they're kicking field goals, and he knows his only big mistake is turning the ball over in that situation.
You saw John Fox say good game to him on the sideline. 34-yard attempt by Kasay, and this kick is good. Back here at St. Louis with the Panthers, this is their biggest lead of the game, 4 points at 16-12 with 43 seconds to go, and Jake Delhomme, one mistake, the interception by Tommy Polley, but the Rams could only get a field goal out of it. In fact, right now you'd have to say that the pivotal aspect of this game was the fact that the Rams had to settle for 2 field goals when they were dominating the Panthers defense early on in the first quarter, early in the second, and could only take a 6-0 lead.
And then they have the big run. They finally get that break. A very opportunistic team this afternoon. And then Muhsin Mohammed, just a great hustle play on the fumble. Never giving up on it. And all of a sudden, you could kind of see the tide turn right there. St. Louis goes back down, but they get held again in the red zone, have to kick another field goal.
So that was the only touchdown by Mohammed. But the Rams coming back again as Arlen Harris returning the kickoff, and he gets hit and is down at the 22-yard line. And the Rams have plenty of that, but it has not been unleashed. Torrey Hope dropping what was a sure touchdown pass. Last possession. Now the Rams start from the 22. Dane Looker going in motion to the right. Handoff, Marshall Faulk. And Faulk has not been able to do much. Dan Morgan getting the job done. And back in the year 2000, when John Fox was the defensive coordinator of the Giants shut out the Minnesota Vikings 41-0. 3 big weapons, no points, 114 total yards. Here's what's happening today.
Now he is duplicating it. They've given up a few more yards, but the big thing right there, no touchdowns. He is forcing St. Louis to kick field goals.
2nd and 9. Time this time, and the pass might have been deflected at the line. Isaac Bruce was the intended receiver with 1 second showing on the clock.
And you talked about that crowd. You know, they're starting to get a little frustrated right now. They're seeing the incompletes, the opportunities that have been wasted. They're all sitting down in their seats. And this is the time. I know the offense is out on the field right now, and you don't want to be loud, but very important to be supportive when one facet of your football team is struggling a little bit.
Panthers have taken this crowd out of the game, and you just didn't think it was possible the way the Rams have played this year. Here. 3rd and 9. This should be the last play of the 3rd quarter. And Bulger with a flag down. And this pass is incomplete. Holt defended by Reggie Howard. But there's a penalty marker down as time runs out. And it'll be a holding penalty against the Panthers, giving St. Louis new life. In a game with only 1 touchdown, and that by the Panthers on a fumble recovery, Carolina leading by 4 as we start the 4th quarter.
And John Fox's goal, 2 per quarter. Now they've got 3 in the 3rd, but let's not forget that Carolina kicked off to open the 2nd half, so the potential for an extra possession right there. I'm going to give them that one. I'll give them 3 in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, always
3 in the 3rd or 3 in the 1st, whichever one they lost the toss with.
And John Fox will say, look, whether it's 3 or 2, they still don't have a touchdown. So Rams with a 1st down on their 28, trailing by only 4. And a touchdown would put them ahead. Multiple wide receivers, good time, and the pass to Isaac Bruce. First down to the 41-yard line. That looks like the Rams we remember of 2 years ago and then 4 seasons ago.
And here comes Isaac Bruce. He's going to be working on Reggie Howard right there. That little whip route back inside. It's a zone coverage, so Reggie Howard has to let him go. Dan Morgan's got to be able to see that coming back underneath out of his peripheral vision and get up and make that hit.
Darryl, the Rams felt they could do a lot of business against the corners of Carolina. How come they haven't done more?
You know, they're playing well. They're playing into some zone coverage. They haven't gotten into a lot of one-on-one man situations, and Mike Marks did not expect to see many opportunities like that during the course of the game.
Here comes pressure, and the blitz is on, and Bulger with a flag down completes to Manomaliuna, who doesn't catch many passes, and he would have the first down if this flag is against Carolina. Brandon Manomaliuna only 4 catches in the regular year, picking up 12. But this may come back.
Offense number 64. 10-yard penalty remains, first down.
And the veteran center Dave Wallabaugh called for holding. So an uneasy start again in this fourth quarter, as it was in the third for St. Louis.
They've just never been able to build any momentum during the course of the game. Every time they do something well, either Carolina has responded and taken that momentum back from them, or even in a smaller part of the game when they have a big play, they're not able to follow it up and continue those drives. And it all boils down to all their red zone struggles today. The fact that they've been kicking field goals and they haven't been able to score touchdowns.
First down and 20. And the quick to Marshall Faulk. And only the second catch of the game for Faulk, and a minimal gain on the play. Now you see the 3-man rush by the Panthers on second down and 19. And Bulger is going deep, and the pass is intercepted by Mike Minter, playing center field. And first down for the Panthers on the 27-yard line. Deshaun Foster, who has gained 77 yards on 13 carries, nearly 6 yards a clip. In place of the injured Stephen Davis, has done a terrific job on this play, though. Doesn't get much. And Pisa Tino Isamoa stops it.
Marc Bulger nowhere to go with this throw. The linebackers are going to step up. That holds the tight end and the running back. The guy that they wanted coming across the middle gets covered because it's a too deep zone coverage with man underneath. He tries to hit the home run because he's got nowhere to go with the ball. You see both the safeties back deep. Mike Minter starts to adjust to that seam route that was supposed to clear the area, but because he was able to get back over, because they had 4 defenders back there, can make the interception.
Second and 10. And the pitch to Foster with blockers. Deshaun Foster may have a first down, and very close to it as Brad Hoover with the good block. And after the...
Here's another guy that had a good block. That's Musi Muhammad, your wide receiver on Leonard Little. Does a crack out there. There's Brad Hoover's block. It's the corner support buried down underground, and you've got Deshaun Foster running on the outside.
Kurt Warner, after the last possession, coming over and licking his fingers as if maybe there's a chance he might go in, and Mike Martz said that I'm not going to take out Bulger unless he is the reason why we're not getting it done. We don't know his thinking at this moment. First down at the 38-yard line, and here is Jake Delhomme, and Delhomme finds Steve Smith, and Smith gets down to the 26-yard line on a great throw and a big play of 36 yards, and the Panthers are in business early here in the fourth.
And we are in the fourth quarter, and this is the quarter that Jake Delhomme makes some big plays down the field. You heard the guys at the halftime show talk about it. A little double move right there. Steve Smith bends it to the corner, then comes back to the middle of the field, and Jake Delhomme now fits a nice ball into a tight spot.
And you saw the graphic that the Carolina Panthers went over 200 yards rushing, and that was for only the second time this year. And the Rams defense the other way, allowing 200. That's the most they have given up. First down on the 26 and the screen. Terrific catch by Steve Smith. and he gets a few extra yards down the sideline. And this Carolina Panther team, even though we have a lot of time left, Moose can feel it at this time.
Oh, their confidence has just continued to build and build as the afternoon has gone on. This is a great play by Steve Smith because I think that's going to be a backward pass. That ball is going to go out of bounds, and there comes Travis Fisher up, misses the tackle on the outside. But what a good play by Steve Smith because that ball was going, I think, backwards, and that would have been a loss of yardage if he doesn't go up and make that circus catch.
2nd and 3 at the 19 of the Rams. Steve Smith has caught 6 for 101 yards, so 2 straight playoff games he's gone over 100. And the pitch to Foster. Foster giving ground and won't get anything and will lose big-time yardage as Tyoka Jackson put the pressure on and Travis Fisher came in to make the tackle. A big loss of 11.
Sometimes it's just so hard as a running back and you're a playmaker, but right now this play is dead in the water. Travis Fisher is moving up. He's got a full head of steam. You cannot change direction and outrun that guy. Sometimes it's just a bad play. Get down on the ground and go back to the huddle and line up again.
And I'll tell you, Moose, it got the crowd back in the game. That was a very costly play for the Panthers because now the crowd is back in, looking at 3rd and 14, and the crowd helping, the team helping as well. Ball is at the 30, and they'll give it to Foster. And Foster with a terrific gain, and he may have a first down. He does. So on 3rd and 14, a big hole opens up the middle, and Deshaun Foster gets the first down. If you want to talk about deflating the balloon, right here.
Well, here's going to be the key blocks are up on the linebackers. There goes Chris Mangum on a cross block right there. And there's Deshaun Foster's vision again, getting to the backside. That play was designed to go right. He breaks it back away from number 86, the lead blocker on that play. And again, it's Carolina running the ball in an obvious passing situation. They caught St. Louis off guard.
Just crossing him up on the play selection. And Deshaun Foster has a career-high 92 yards. First down at the 15. Nick Goings is in the game, gets the call, and is stopped in his tracks by Tyoka Jackson. And penalty markers fly.
And we got somebody down on the field.
Steve Smith holding his head. Already the Panthers have lost Stephen Davis, who came out after rushing 64 yards to set up a score in the first half.
Oh.
Looks like he got poked in the eye, guys.
Wow.
That's painful. And
Personal foul, major face mask of the defense, number 22. It's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down, half the distance to the goal.
When you're at the line of scrimmage in press coverage, you cannot put your hand on the face mask at all. Now, if you're in the interior part of the line and you're pass blocking and your hand gets up on the face mask and you get it off quickly, it's not going to be a penalty. But on the outside in press coverage, you cannot get your hand anywhere near the face. And it's specifically because of a situation like that, where you get a finger in the eye or you get somebody into the nose. You cannot go anywhere near the face mask when you're outside. And I know that Travis Fisher, that's unintentional, but oh, that's a scary situation right there when you see a player just drop that quick.
you know, Moose, I think he poked him and then held onto the mask after that. So they both couldn't have been unintentional, but in any event, half the distance marked off as Steve Smith will come out of the game, replaced by Kevin Dyson, who's making his first showing in the game. And Smith today, 6 catches, 101 yards. And it'll be 1st and goal at the 7. Dyson, the former Tennessee Titan, who had an Achilles injury in preseason and just activated in the last month and a half. First and goal at the 7, and here's Brad Hoover, touchdown.
There you go, Tony.
That was a nice one for you, brother.
I'll tell you what, I think teams put in plays for their fullbacks when they know that Darryl Johnston's working their game.
Oh, you're down in the red zone, down close in the goal line packages. They know that those guys don't get to carry the ball anymore in the NFL. They're blockers. And here's another guy in this running back corral of the Carolina Panthers with great vision. That's an inside trap play. Brad Hoover, it gets all closed down on the inside. He bounces it back around. Oh, that ball is going nowhere, but right into his locker and back to his house with a nice little paint job on it from this divisional playoff game.
John Kasay with the extra point.
You know, it's so refreshing to finally see a defensive-minded coach like John Fox not go and play prevent defense, try to run the clock out. He went for the juggler vein. He took some chances, throwing the ball downfield. And all you guys want to talk about in the break is Mike Marc. Killing me.
Sorry, Tony.
Uh-oh.
Chris Massey. And the ball into the end zone. Wow. Touchback. Isn't it refreshing that Tony Siragusa says giving the ball to the fullback is going for the jugular, Moose?
We are bonding right now. I mean, I'm so happy that Tony considers that to be aggressive
I gotta throw you a bone every
football.
now and then. Gotta throw you a bone every now and then, baby. If it was up to you, you want to see 2 tight ends, 2 fullbacks in the backfield, don't you?
First down.
If the Rams are going to get this lead back, they got to start handing the ball off to Brandon Manu Maliuna, number 86.
From the 20-yard line, play action for Bulger on first down, and another interception pass. It picked off by Dion Grant over the head of Torrey Holt. And at 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go, it may be too late for even Kurt Warner to come in and perform any magic, as the second straight interception, both thrown into the hands. Easy interceptions by Panthers.
One tight end goes for a 5-yard run and total chaos happens. Total chaos happens on the field.
That was the first interception that Marc Bulger had. You know, that was a nice job by Carolina's defense. That one there, that ball just sailed a little bit on him. He had a guy coming in on an in route, just sailed it over the top, and then you had your safety playing the deep zone coverage, and he's right there to make an easy catch.
First down with 8:40 to go for the Panthers, and their second interception of the game on the Ram 28. Deshaun Foster. And Foster getting to the 25, a pickup of 3 with Young and Butler on the stop. So there's Kurt Warner, and by the way, Jake Delhomme had backed up, as many of you may know, in NFL Europe and Amsterdam. In 1998 was the backup quarterback to Kurt Warner, and then next year led the Frankfurt Galaxy to the NFL Europe titles. So a lot of the ties bind here in this playoff game. Steve Smith, who came out of the game after being poked in the eye, has returned to the lineup. 2nd and 7 on the 25 of the Rams. And the pitch to Foster. Foster picking up a yard as the clock continues to run, and so does the time of possession edge, which is nearing 10 minutes for the Panthers over the Rams.
And that shows you the way that this Carolina team has played in the second half, because it was almost balanced at halftime. There was only about 12-14 seconds separating the teams in time of possession. They have just really taken control. They've taken advantage of the turnovers by the St. Louis Rams and had the long time-consuming drives, and they're walking away with points.
Speaking of points, Rams have not gotten a touchdown today. And their 14-game home winning streak is in dire jeopardy. 3rd down and 7, and Delhomme is going to be sacked. Tyoka Jackson, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, put the burst on. Big loss of 11, and the first sack for the Rams today.
And one of the things that you can't do when you're in that position, we have seen Jake Delhomme make good decisions all afternoon, but you can't take yourself away from points. This is going to be a 52, 53-yard field goal attempt now because of the lost yardage on that sack. But Tyoka Jackson got through there pretty quick. He didn't have a whole lot of chance to break contain and get that ball thrown back to the line of scrimmage.
Casey's last field goal was 34 yards. Also has a 52-yard field goal. This one, 53. And the 53-yard attempt, and it is no good as it hits the upright and bounces onto the field. That miss by John Kasay was his first failure in 16 tries. And the Panthers still with an 11-point lead with 6:29 remaining. The last time the Rams did not score a touchdown at home, you have to go back to October of '97 against the Seattle Seahawks. 4 wide receivers, and you know it's got to be a passing game, and Marshall Faulk out of the backfield jukes his way to the 49-yard line. Well, Ricky Prohl, played 5 years with the Rams, now playing with the Panthers, and has a lot of knowledge about the St. Louis team.
Well, the most important thing he told them was the fact that this is something that is preached from the top, that the Rams are never out of a football game. They always feel that they have the ability, because of their explosiveness, to get back into a game. And that was the one thing that he was very adamant about warning his players.
And no one home on that play. And if people are wondering about Kurt Warner, in a lot of ways it may not be fair to bring Kurt Warner in and say perform a magic miracle here when the team is down by 11 at this stage of the race.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult situation for him to come in off the bench and be able to perform at a level that gets them back there. Right now, Marc Bulger is a little bit unnerved, and I think if this crowd continues its negative voicings, it's just going to make things more difficult for him.
3rd down and 3. Rams at midfield. And Bulger with time, and the pass is caught by Faulk, and Faulk diving and may have the first down, and does. Tremendous competitor is Marshall Faulk. He knew he was behind the sticks and fought his way for the first down.
And we talked earlier when Torrey Holt had an opportunity to make that difficult catch that would have had a touchdown for the Rams, that one of their marquee guys had to step up and do something to generate some excitement, get that momentum back. Right now, Marshall Faulk is doing that with his last 2 plays.
And look at the edge that the Panthers have in time of possession, more than 2-1 here in the second half. First down at the 45, and the Bulger seeing the pocket collapse. Now firing at an incomplete. Closest to the ball was Isaac Bruce. And right now the Carolina Panthers are putting great pressure on from every area. That time Will Witherspoon, the linebacker, came in on Bulger, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
The good thing that they're doing, they're walking up their linebackers like they're going to blitz, and it's holding Marshall Faulk just for a few seconds before he can release. He's not able to get a free release right away because he's got to worry about protection first. And now here come those big 4 defenders, or in this situation, they've got 3 down linemen. They're starting to pressure Marc Bulger. By the time Marshall Faulk releases, he's already scrambling in the pocket.
2nd down and 10 at the 45, and really confusing a guy who knows everyone's assignment on every play, Marshall Faulk. And the pass is caught by Isaac Bruce. Isaac Bruce making the reception 16 yards and into Panther territory.
That is a tremendous throw by Marc Bulger. There's one. I'd throw my red flag if I was John Fox right now.
Red flag's out, guys.
Got to have both feet inbound, and you have to have possession after the play. So this is the first challenge of the game by John Fox.
The ruling on the field is a force out, which is not challengeable. However,
possession.
Whether the receiver maintained control when it hit the ground is reviewable. We'll take a look.
And that's the issue here.
And you saw the push in the back by Ricky Manning Jr. That's that overt action which they deem as a force out. And because it was ruled a force out, the catch will stand. The only thing that they can check on replay is if he maintained possession all the way through the catch.
The receiver was bobbling the ball as he was going out of bounds. Therefore, the ruling on the field is incomplete pass.
He did not have control, and you were right. You could see the spin of the ball when it wasn't in his hands.
Will not be
so the
charged
Panthers
with the team timeout.
not charged with the timeout. The challenge works, and now the Rams have to go back on their half of the field. Can't get a break today. And of course, one of the reasons is Panthers aren't letting him get a break.
And they have done a good job of creating their own luck this afternoon either. And it's all, you go back to that first quarter, those first 2 times they got down into the red zone, that they were just playing into the hands of the Carolina Panthers that was going towards the type of game that they wanted it to be. And it has never changed that type of flow.
And they still are in Carolina territory on the 45 on 3rd down and 10. And Bulger getting time, and on the slant, Mike Furry with the completion short of the first down, but the Rams are in 2-down territory with the clock showing under 5 minutes to go, and the team trailing by 23-12, and the Rams will call a timeout.
Yeah, I think this is a difficult decision right here. We're talking about 55, 56-yard field goal, but it's a 2-possession game right now. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal. You got back to 23-23, but you've got 4:54 left. But I just don't know if Jeff Wilkins can make this kick. They didn't get enough yards.
55, 56 yards for Wilkins, and of course, you know, 3 points could bring him closer, and it looks as if the Rams are going to try to get the first down. It'll be 4th down and 2. Rams don't know when they'll be back in Carolina territory, the way the Panthers have played defense today. So they use a timeout, and 4th down and 2. Actually, it's closer to 3 yards than it's a long 2, I should say, very long. They're on the 38. And here comes pressure. It's picked up, and Bulger's pass, and it is caught by Marshall Faulk for the first down and out of bounds at the 16. Clutch play by both Marc Bulger and Marshall Faulk, 22 yards, and they keep the ball.
You hear about guys with the strong arms, and we've seen some of those examples today, but look at this touch throw by Marc Bulger right there. He's got Marshall Faulk against Will Witherspoon in man-to-man coverage, and he just drops one right over the top. Marshall does a good job of the concentration, almost able to stay in bounds and continue that play down the sideline. With everything on the line, Marc Bulger makes a heck of a throw.
He had Jenkins right in his face also.
Yeah, pretty tough play. And there is the fade into the end zone, and double covering Isaac Bruce for the Panthers. The pass goes incomplete. 2nd down coming up from the 16, as both Reggie Howard and Mike Minter were all over Isaac Bruce.
You have to give a lot of credit today to Mike Turgevac, the defensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers. The reason that we're seeing Marc Bulger make some of these throws is the fact that he has changed up so much, whether it's the coverages, the different looks he's giving. You've seen the 2 deep zone with the man underneath that's been holding the outlet receivers in the backfield, allowing that defense to get pressure, then dropping 8 guys back and rushing with 3 guys and filling up all the zones, and Marc Bulger has nowhere to go with the ball in those situations. So a lot of different looks for him to digest during the course of this afternoon.
Torrey Holt, and the ball is batted down by Brenson Buckner. Holt was in motion, and 3rd down and 10 now for the Rams.
And this is something that has become so prominent with a lot of the 3-step drop. The defensive linemen don't have the opportunity to get to the quarterback because the ball comes out so quick, but they're so good at timing it and getting their hands up, and not just getting their hands up, but then moving, being able to pick up the ball coming off the quarterback's hand and knocking it down.
It's nice getting the pass breakup also, Darryl, as a defensive lineman.
4 tip passes today by the Panthers, Goose. 3rd down and 10 on the 16. They spread it out with 5 receivers and the empty backfield. And here is Bulger's pass, and it's caught inside the 10 by Faulk. Fights his way to the 5 for the first down. Marshall Faulk, relentless in this series in particular.
Now he is basically picking this team up right now and willing them to win. And you heard Tony talk about him at the beginning of the game when he became very emotional in his talk to his team. He is following it up. He is leading by example with the season on the line. Hey, come on, guys. We're not going to get another shot at this. We got to get something going right now.
And as Tony said, he was in tears before the game. So you had an idea what this game would mean to him. 1st and goal at the 5. And there's the flip to Faulk. Marshall Faulk hit it to 4 and hit down. It's all Marshall Faulk right now for the Rams as they try to get back in the game. Mike Rucker put the hit on, and Faulk is getting up slowly.
You know, guys, I played with Marshall Faulk in Indianapolis when he was a rookie, and you just knew, even when he came in as a rookie, this guy was going to be a leader. And it was awesome watching this guy grow to where he is right now.
You knew he was going to be something special when he was at San Diego State. I mean, he just has that great gift of vision and speed.
And it's Marc Bulger trying to run it in and hits Brenson Buckner head on. Surprise, he's on, and you can see that Mike Martz is yelling he wants a timeout, and they used up a lot of time before they called it, the 2nd timeout for the Rams.
You've got Chris Jenkins and Brenson Buckner right there over the guard. You're down inside the 3-yard line. You're going to get that goal line defense. You try and run a quarterback sneak with the 2 biggest guys in the interior of the line, lined right up over your center. You got to audible out of that play.
So it'll be 3rd down and goal at the 4-yard line. And the Rams are 2 scores away from pulling this one out. And Marshall Faulk with a courageous effort on this last possession, trying to keep the Rams in this game.
Darryl, you know, you're right. They need to audible out, but they don't have audibles.
That's right.
So what are they going to do? Run the play.
Yeah. You know what? John Fox just outguessed you on that one. And either you got to call the timeout or you're in a situation like that. The one thing about a team that doesn't have audibles, you get into a situation like that where it's a dead play and you've got no options.
13th play of the drive coming up right here. 3:16 to go in the fourth. Third down and goal. And the pass incomplete. Flag down. Brandon Monomaliuna was defended right there by Terry Cousin. And John Fox wants to know if it's pass interference against his team.
Pass interference. Defense number 21.
It is first and
Foul
goal.
occurred in the end zone. The ball in place at the 1-yard line. Automatic. First down.
You go from 4th and goal at the 4 to 1st and goal at the 1.
And that was in the end zone where Cousin interfered with Monomaliuna, so it'll be first and goal at the 1-yard line. As you see Cousin again, that is the 11th penalty called against the Panthers. No penalties a week ago, 11 for 82 yards today. 3 tight ends, first and goal at the 1. And here's Marshall Faulk, and he's not going to get there.
They've got to get this ball in the end zone quickly. They can't sit here and go 2-3 downs and take time off the clock.
Julius Peppers with great pursuit.
A play right there designed. Marshall Faulk decides to try and bounce it outside. Julius Peppers, as you mentioned, all the way outside. They have got to get this in the end zone quickly.
And that was bad because it used up a lot of time. Plenty of time here. Knocked down by Deion Grant on the pass to the back of the end zone intended for Cameron Cleeland. Great play by Grant, preventing the touchdown.
Ooh, and Deion Grant is going to be mad at himself for not getting an interception. Marc Bulger got away with one right here.
They should have called a timeout right there, guys. They got to the line of scrimmage. Looked like half the team was running one play and half the team was running another play.
Well, the Rams have 1 timeout, Tony, and you know, you need 2 scores. You can't use all your timeouts left because that eliminates any chance for a running play the rest of the game. And here it is, Marshall Faulk diving inside, touchdown. So the Rams finally score, and it was a labor for them.
They got to go for 2, though.
Because a 2-point conversion would leave them a field goal short. And if they don't, they'll need a touchdown to pull this out.
Similar to the play we saw in the first one. Again, the vision and the ability to change direction by Marshall Faulk. Mike Minter actually in good position to make the tackle. He's on the outside for us. But watch how quickly Marshall Faulk goes from going outside to right back inside, right there.
There's nobody on turf that can turn it up like Marshall. Moose.
And the Rams with a 2-point conversion. And a big one to try to bring them to within 3. And here is Bulger's pass, and they've got it to Dane Looker. And it's a field goal difference with 2:39 on the clock. 23-20 the score. And that was a Marshall Faulk masterpiece on that drive.
The Carolina played it well. They've got the 2 contained guys there. Just good execution. And Dane Looker does a good job. As soon as he catches it, he doesn't allow Terry Cousin to get a hit on him. You see, he's going to fall directly back into the end zone before he can get over there and try and prevent him from breaking the plane.
And, of course, now the question of the onside kick comes into play. The Rams have only 1 timeout left, trailing by a field goal at 23-20. And so it takes to 2:39 in the fourth before the Rams finally score a touchdown at home. And the Carolina Panthers are used to this, Moose. They have 7 wins by 3 or fewer, tying the all-time record originally set by the Arizona Cardinals 4 years ago.
Not uncommon ground for the Carolina Panthers right here. And with only 1 timeout remaining, you wonder if you have to onside kick it at this point in the game with only 2:39 left.
Well, the thing is that if you don't onside the kick, you've got to use that 1 timeout on defense.
And then you've got the 2-minute warning, so you're going to be 3rd in something if you can stop them, and then the clock will run. I mean, if they don't onside kick it, I don't think they're going to have they'll have less than a minute, even if everything unfolds perfectly.
And the
for
saving grace for them is that they're playing indoors, and they have Wilkins kicking, and he can kick from 57 yards, his career long. So they only need 3. That's why that 2-point conversion was huge. So Wilkins will be kicking.
First thing you tell your guys in this situation, stay onside.
Kick has to go 10 yards. And a whistle as the Panthers called a timeout before the kick. And they could afford it. That was only their first timeout.
The ball was kicked. There's a timeout called by Carolina. 30-second timeout.
Just want to make sure everybody realizes what's going on in this situation. Go over all the little things. Usually what happens is your guys in the front of an onside kick, they go forward. They take out the guys who are coming to recover it. You let your guys in the second row make the catch. Anybody who's around, get around him in case that ball comes loose. So right there, they just huddle up, make sure everybody knows exactly how we want this to work.
Sometimes you get a kick that is hard, that bounces off and ricochets off, you know, the receiving team.
Well, what they're going to do, you saw Jeff Wilkins on that last one. It's that one where you top the ball and spin it real high. But these guys right here, they're going to move forward and try and pick the guys up. Here's where your guys were going to catch the ball up. This is just a train wreck.
Everyone lined up on the far side, except for 2 on the lower part of your screen, and Steve Smith, who's standing at the 30-yard line. So here's Wilkins with the onside kick. And the ball bouncing. It went 10 yards.
Jeff Wilkins got it.
10 yards, and the Rams get it, I think. They do. The Rams get it at the 42-yard line, maybe the 43. And there is John Fox in disgust, seeing the Rams with an opportunity here.
Jeff Wilkins goes in and gets this ball. That's legal right there. It gets kicked back up in the air, and there's Jeff Wilkins coming in. That's unbelievable.
Great spin on that kick. What great spin on that kick by Wilkins. Sort of like a screwball if you were a pitcher, but bounced and then bounced back.
I mean, as a kicker, your job is to just hit the ball perfectly. Rarely do you see the guy with the presence of mind on a onside kick to get over there and try and make a play. Sometimes he's the designated safety in case the other team catches it and comes the other direction.
And how well did he time that leap to get the ball? Because if you don't time that right, you don't get it. So the Rams with a first down on their 42-yard line with 2:39 remaining. 2:38 in the fourth quarter, 1 timeout left. They need 3 to tie, and the pass caught by Isaac Bruce to the 38-yard line. And the Rams right now are thinking touchdown, not thinking field goal, believe me.
Oh, this is another great throw. What a great route by Isaac Bruce right there. Terry Cousin in great position. He can't get across his face, but he gets over the top of him and gives Marc Bulger an angle to get that ball in.
So if Jake Delhomme has brought his team back in the fourth quarter 7 times, right behind him is Marc Bulger with 4 in third place, tied with Manning and McNabb. First down at the 38-yard line, and the 2-minute warning will stop the action right here. Trailing by 3. A touchdown would win it. A field goal would send it into the extra session. Bruce in motion. Here comes the pressure. Pass caught by Bruce. Isaac Bruce, first down at the 25-yard line. And that is his 7th catch of the game.
This is another great play call. Just a quick post right there. They've got Julius Peppers dropping out into coverage because they brought the blitz from the other side. Well, this is just a great game. This is
Oh, I tell you what, the Rams deserve a lot of credit, and Mike March deserves a lot of credit because he could have pulled Bulger. He gave him a pat on the helmet every time he's been out there, and Isaac Bruce, with the high ankle sprain, remains out there. It is first down at the 25, and here is Bulger, and Bulger finds Faulk up the middle, who dives inside the 20-yard line as we now wind close to a minute remaining. And Tony, that's why you got to have a timeout remaining so you can have plays like that up the middle and runs, because without a timeout you can't run the ball anymore.
I'm sorry.
Or the big thing to be able to throw.
Don't ever do that again.
To be able to throw the ball into the middle of the field and call timeout and get your kicking team on for this field goal if they have to kick one to tie.
You're great. 2nd and 4 at the 19. I accept. Under a minute remaining, 2nd and 4. And the pitch going to Faulk. Marshall Faulk to the 15. First down for the Rams. He appears to have it. Deion Grant making the tackle. And now a half a minute remains.
Line up and at least clock it so you can take a couple of shots into the end zone. Keep that time out.
And they're taking their time. So they're going to.
I don't agree with this. As big a gambler as Mike Martz is in this time, I get my offense up, kill the clock, take a couple of shots into the end zone. I've still got that timeout that you and Tony are arguing about, so you can throw the ball into the middle of the field too, or throw it underneath and let Marshall Faulk or Torrey Holt run with it.
Spike the ball.
I never thought I would see Mike Martz play for a field goal to go into overtime. And
the crowd is befuddled, as we are, over that fact, because he could have spiked the ball and had it maybe one, possibly even two plays to passes in the end zone.
Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Wouldn't you want to leave more time on in case there's a muff snap or something?
Yes, you're absolutely right, because if the penalty or any muff is against the offensive team, you don't get another play if time runs out. You're absolutely right. If the penalty against the defense, you would, but not if it's against the offense. But
well, that's another reason to get up and clock it and keep your timeout with about 6 seconds left. So if anything in the snap hold mechanics goes wrong, it's first down. You just call the timeout and then kick it from that spot. But he has left no room for error now.
No room. And this will be a 33-yard field goal by Wilkins, who has kicked 4 for 4 today. Very strange turn of events down the stretch, and the Panthers will let Wilkins think about it a little bit as they call their second timeout. Well, when you get this close to the goal line and you have a chance to make a touchdown, we're not talking about a Hail Mary here. We're talking about a play within 15 yards to try to win the game.
That was so unlike Mike Martz. I've never seen him do something like that in that situation. There was 25+ seconds left when Marshall Faulk got tackled. Get everybody up and kill the clock. So now you're at 20 seconds. That gives you at least 2 shots into the end zone. You've still got that timeout with the ability where you don't have to throw to the sideline and you don't have to throw into the end zone. You can throw it underneath and allow one of your guys to run.
And remember, Wilkins now, who's done everything today, including capturing and catching his own onside kick, will try the 33-yarder. And Wilkins' kick is good, and we're tied at 23 and heading for overtime as time runs out. But a great rally by the Rams, who were down by 11 points with 4 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in regulation, and they send it into overtime. First team to score, and this crowd was out of the game, and they got back in the game after a sack by the Rams defense as Rod Smart from the 12 returns for Carolina and runs into a group of defenders at the 32-yard line. Been a field goal day today. 8 combined field goals, tying an NFL postseason record. Wilkins with 5, including the one that sent the game into overtime. First down at the 32. Rams defense has not been on the field, as Darryl just mentioned, more than a half hour. And Deshaun Foster has gained 96 yards in place of Stephen Davis, who was injured, suffering a strained quad on a 64-yard run in the second quarter. Crowd is again deafening, and it's been a while. Play action. Delhomme overthrows Hoover, his fullback. Tony, what does that do for the defense, being off the field more than a half hour?
I'll tell you what, it rests you up a little bit, and the defensive line does that. They had a little rotation going, but then they kept the starters out there for a long time. You know, you would think that it would get tied up. I don't know as far as the defensive backs, but as far as the linemen go, it's good. You get your rest. Now you're ready to go again.
This is the loudest this crowd has been since the game started. You remember Carolina struggled their first few series when they had this much noise.
They committed a lot of penalties and were confused early on. Here comes pressure on Delhomme, and Jake's pass dropped. Dropped by Muhsin Muhammad. And that will bring up 3rd down and 10. And Marc Bulger warming up on the sideline, and he has had a reprieve as well. John Fox hoping that this game doesn't ultimately slip away after his 11-point lead late in the contest.
Guys, it's so loud down here on the field that the offensive tackles have to actually look inside at the ball because you can't hear anything. I can't even hear myself right now.
That's what Todd Stussy said he had to do. Look at the ball. 3rd down and 10. Jake Delhomme, and the pass caught, and it should be a 1st down. Nick Goings will have the 1st down. So Jake Delhomme, and we talked about the unheralded quarterbacks in this game. They're making some big plays, Moose.
There's Nick Goings right here. He's just going to get down into that vacated zone. Good release by Jake Delhomme, because Adam Archuleta was about a step away from doing a reenactment of El Harris last week. Gutsy throw by Jake Delhomme.
Hey, Delhomme and Bulger in their first baptism under playoff fire. Delhomme in his 2nd game, of course, seeing his pressure as big as it can get. From the 44, handoff to Brad Hoover, and nothing doing. A minimal gain. And you don't have to worry about the clock in this game. The first team that scores will win. They'll keep on playing until somebody does.
John Fox probably feeling a little bit lucky on that last series. Got down behind the down and distance to 3rd and 10, able to make a play to get that 1st down. He comes back, runs the ball on 1st down. He's got to stay ahead of the change in this situation, because as Tony's mentioned, you look at those tackles, they have to look inside to see when the ball is snapped and then get their eyes back outside to pick up the guy they're trying to block.
Not easy. The crowd is loud, and here's Deshaun Foster on the pitch, and he's not going to get much. No gain on the play. Tommy Polley, who has an interception earlier in the game, forced the play, and it brings up 3rd and long for Carolina.
It's just good team defense by the St. Louis Rams. They force Deshaun Foster to run east and west, and then here comes that speed. Look at all the guys getting into the picture right there.
And there's an injured Panther right in front of the Rams bench. Talk about a big 3rd down play. Panthers need 9. If you're Carolina, you don't want to give the ball up the way the Rams have been going lately.
We'll go back to what Tony talked about. The defensive linemen for the Rams have been on the sideline. They've been able to get rested. That group from Carolina has been on the field a lot. They're going to be tired. They need some time to get their breath back if they're going to be able to get some pressure on Marc Bulger.
Great point. Ball is at the 45 of the Panthers. And play action. Here's Delhomme being chased out of the pocket, and his pass caught. 1st down, Muhsin Muhammad, who recovered a fumble for a touchdown, gets 12 big yards on the scramble out of the pass rush.
All the Carolina fans at home watching this game were like, no, no, no. All right, Jake. Oh, cardinal sin, rolling to your right, throwing back across your body to the middle of the field against a very fast defense. That is 2 gutsy throws by Jake Delhomme right here.
And Tino Isamoa, who's got pretty good speed in his own right, chasing Delhomme from behind. 1st and 10 on the 42. And inching closer to where Kasay's average is. Pressure from behind, and wide open is Jermaine Wiggins, and the Panther tight end gets close to the 20-yard line. They went to the opposite field and get 22 yards out and silence this crowd deep in field goal range for Kasay.
The old sleeper play. Jermaine Wiggins goes down inside like he's blocking, and then he comes out the backside, going down the field right there. You hold one of those plays like just for a spot like that in the game. You saw John Fox come out earlier with the reverse and the reverse pass, and he holds a play like that for a situation just like this, and they execute it perfectly.
Wiggins caught only 8 passes all year long, and John Fox and the Panthers call a timeout. It'll be a 1st down and 10 at the 21 of the Rams. And of course now you don't want to try anything fancy here because you know that you're in great field goal range for Kasay. Jermaine Wiggins was a hero setting up the game-winning field goal for the Patriots against the Rams with a big catch. So the Rams remember Wiggins well. 1st and 10 at the 21, and they're going to keep it and just get the ball to the center of the field and keep it there. Loss of 1 yard, and they're not going to take any more time. John Kasay is going to come on to try to win it right here. He has kicked 3 field goals, his longest from 52 yards out.
John Fox's big message to his team this week when everybody talked about this 14-0 streak here at St. Louis's home field was the fact that Atlanta went up to Lambeau Field last year and did something that nobody else had done before.
40-yard attempt, Moose. Right in the center of the field. Todd Sauerbrunn will hold to try to win the game. And Casey's kick. No, there's a penalty flag. Delay of the game has been called. A delay of the game penalty.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still first.
So now they're going to have to move it back 5 yards, and a 45-yard attempt now. So now it's getting into the never land of not too easy.
Oh boy. I mean, you just move the ball to the center of the field, not a big sense of urgency of everybody out there. In that situation, your center is usually got his head down. Your guard, who's right next to him, has to start counting it down because he's got his head between his legs, checking the holder. The guard has to look at the play clock and let him know, hey, we're getting close. You got to snap that ball.
And you know, they really don't have to try the kick now because it is 2nd and 17 if they want to get some of that back, but they will anyway. It'll be from 45 yards out. And the Rams will use a timeout as Jake Delhomme checks the voluminous playlist on his wrist. Headset is off, of course, for Mike Martz, and all the Panthers want to do, Moose, is get it closer for a better chance. It's 2nd down and 17.
Oh boy.
And Nick Goings is the running back. And they hand off to Nick Goings, and Goings picks up a couple of yards, and
now you'll need to do another one to get the ball back into the middle of the field. That was their approach on the last attempt. So you're going to probably have at least one more snap where something terrible could happen.
I know, but I think this is smart. I mean, why settle for a 45-yarder? Of course,
when you can settle for a 44-yarder or a 43-yarder?
No, I mean, you hope you have to get a little bit more.
This is driving me nuts.
You're not the only one. We got a lot of viewers who feel the same way, Goose. 3rd and 15 on the 26, and they hand off to Goings, and not much there. So they tried it with 2 plays, and Grant Wistra makes the tackle, and now they have no choice.
Big thing now, you know, learn from what happened last time. Get onto the field, get this thing lined up. Do not have another delay of game penalty right here.
That first one was really a killer because the kick was good. I mean, it would have been a good kick had it not been for the delay of the game, which, of course, play didn't even count. 45 yards. So
here we go again.
Yep. They gain nothing. Game on the line right here. And now the Rams will call another timeout. Here it is. Again, the 45-yarder. Rams still have a timeout left. They're not going to call it. Here comes the kick to win the game. And the kick is up, and it is no good. He hooked it, and the Rams get a life. So after all the timeouts, the delay of the game, Panthers trying to get some yards, which they couldn't. The Rams get a life and come back on with their offense. Amazing.
Wow, the fact that they made the kick and had the delay of game. And this one, I tell you what, the yardage, this thing is drifting. I mean, it would be interesting to see when that kick went outside. I mean, if they are maybe 2 yards closer, I think that sneaks in like his earlier kick today.
So he's missed 2, and now Marc Bulger is saying, hey, I'm still in the game. And he is, and the Rams are. And because of the kick from 40, they'll have the ball at the 35-yard line. Those 5 yards on the delay of the game will be remembered forever in football if the Rams go on and win this one. First down at the 35 for Marc Bulger. Up the middle, short gain to Marshall Faulk. A pick of 1. And in case you're wondering, the Rams had 1 timeout left, but they could not have taken 2 consecutive timeouts in that instance. 9 minutes and 15 seconds in the first overtime. Jeff Wilkins' career long was 57. Thought he could hit 55 yards. There is the blue line that you see, and that is where Wilkins and the Rams would have to get for him to have a shot that he feels he can make. And here is Bulger's pass, and it's caught by Isaac Bruce to the 38-yard line of the Panthers. And as the complexion of this game changed yet again.
Well, we talked about having Isaac Bruce back in the lineup, maybe not 100%, but to help out Torrey Holt, to free him up from so much bracket coverage. But he has stepped up and just had a great game today, and he is not 100%. And this is the play that you have to stop when you play the St. Louis Rams. That deep in cut, they throw it about 5 to 7 yards deeper than most people. They get it over the linebackers in front of the safeties.
26-yard gain, and Bruce today, 7 catches, 115 yards. And the Rams in business again, and they will use their last timeout of what would be the first half if we have to play 2 quarters and then have a minor intermission. You saw just a couple of minutes, so no more timeouts for the Rams, at least on this drive, with 8:13 to go in the first overtime period. They have a first down on the Panther 38. This is an incredible game, and you know, maybe we knew something was going to happen when the Panthers scored the first touchdown on a fumble recovery, and the Rams didn't even get a TD until the 4th quarter.
And how prophetic does Ricky Prohl sound? They have preached to this team that they are never out of a football game, and he warned his teammates about it. And to score those 11 points at the end of the game and get it into overtime.
How about Wilkins? How about Faulk? Just to be in this position. And, you know, Marc Bulger in his first
Isaac Bruce go down the both
Bruce.
sides of the ball. Jake Delhomme, Muhsin Muhammad, Stephen Davis, what he did before he got hurt. You know, Deshaun Foster, what he did coming in.
And a host of heroes on the defensive side as well. There's Ricky Prohl, who spent 5 years here and caught that game-winning touchdown catch against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game back in 2000. First down on the 38. And the handoff to Faulk. Diving for that extra yard. And he is stopped at the 36 after the 2-yard pickup.
The one thing that Carolina did do on that drive was stay on the field a little bit with their offense and let their defense get a little bit of a breather. And Tony pointed out, you know, the fact that that the St. Louis defense had been well rested. You could see the pressure that they were getting at the beginning of that drive, but at least Carolina's offense took some time off the clock. Let those guys get a little bit of a breather.
And Marshall Faulk with a touchdown, going over 100 yards in total offense, getting another opportunity here, and is tackled from behind for no gain by the middle linebacker Dan Morgan. And you know, you look at Marshall Faulk and how much he wants it. Just take a look at that.
Yeah, that is the definition of focus right there. And you know, you heard about his talk to the team before the game, and you saw the will that he had on that touchdown drive that jump-started this whole offense and had gotten him to this situation.
3rd down and 7. The ball is on the 35. Right now it would be about a 52, 53-yard field goal for Wilkins. And the screen pass batted down by Julius Peppers. So now it's the Rams' chance to win the game. And Jeff Wilkins comes on the field looking for his 4th game-winning field goal of the year. But this one would be a little special.
Mike Marc would have liked to have gotten a few more yards right there and not had to be kicking from this distance.
And we'll see where the hold will come. It'll be a 53-yard field goal. He has kicked 5 today. And now the Panthers are going to call a timeout, taking a page from the Rams book, and why not? So now the game on the line. Rams can win it now. And here is Wilkins' kick, and this kick is going to be short. And now John Fox with a chance to cheer. An incredible turn of events. the delay of game and the missed field goal by Kasay, and then the Rams get it back and they charge into Panther territory, only to see the 53-yard attempt by Wilkins falls short. The game remains tied at 23, and the Panthers can now breathe again.
You talk about excruciating, because that thing is down the middle and short. The other guys are hanging on when John Kasay went, but because the ball is placed at the spot of the kick, now Carolina's in great field position.
Yes.
The Rams defense has got to just forget about what just happened and get out. They got to get a stop now.
43-yard line, first down. Now the crowd comes alive. 23-23. Someone has to score for the game to end, and this pass is caught by Muhammad, and he was wide open as he gets to the 36 of the Rams, picking up 22, first down. And again, Mr. Kasay better get ready.
Boy, he really was wide open. As you pointed out, they got the linebackers to really bite up, and there was a huge void in the middle, and Muhammad just came across. There was nobody in the center of the field.
That ball was almost tipped, guys. I don't know if you can see it. Right from the line of scrimmage, as soon as that ball took off, there was a defensive lineman's hand inches away from that ball.
Muhammad with 5 catches, 70 yards. Delhomme's numbers today, first down on the 35 of the Rams, and a mix-up, and Delhomme very nearly lost the ball. And it was Ryan Pickett who actually got to him before he could get a chance to hand off to Foster.
Here's Ryan Pickett right here. They're trying to do that wham block again, but Chris Mangum doesn't get over far enough. You'll see as he motions in right there, Ryan Pickett's already up the field. He can't get there in time, and he's able to get upfield and disrupt that running play.
And that could have been disaster for Carolina and the Rams. Who knows? The ball gets loose, you pick it up, you could run in for the score. So now, second down and 16, back on the 41. Panthers are out of field goal range right now. And the pitch to Foster. Flag is down, and we'll have a false start penalty against the Panthers. So they're going in reverse when they got into Ram territory.
No play. False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
It's Todd Stussy. And John Fox is enraged. And they'll place the ball now on the Ram 46.
And there's that effect of the crowd noise. Tony's mentioned that those tackles have to look inside to get that snap count. The guards are probably struggling to hear the cadence of the line of scrimmage. The tackles have got no chance.
Second down and 21. Here's pressure, and the pass batted down at the line. Third down and 21 coming up. Third down and 21. Ball back on the 46, and pressure and sack at the 45 of Carolina. The Panthers with Brian Young. Inspired series by Young and a loss of 8 yards.
Just watch the movement of the defense before the offense. They're upfield. They're anticipating his count. They have no choice but to go on one. If they go on two in this situation now, they're not going to hear it. They're going to be even later off the ball, and there's even more chance for a critical sack fumble. Jake Delhomme does a nice job of holding on to that football right there, because Brian Young hit him right as he got turned around and planted his feet.
And Moose, they just destroyed that offensive line in the series, plus the false start. So Todd Sauerbrunn will be back to kick and gets it off. Mike Furry calls for the fair catch inside the 15-yard line. 4:29 on the clock. Not that that is significant, but that's what it is in this first overtime quarter. And tied at 23, and so John Fox has to send his defensive unit on yet again.
But what they've done, they've reestablished the field position. They had the first opportunity to win this game, and with their long field goal attempt, the advantage went to the St. Louis Rams. They go down, they try their long field goal attempt. At least Carolina now has gotten back into their style of play. We've got them down inside the 15-yard line. All right, let's go out, play good defense. Let's force them to punt the ball and establish some good field position again and take another shot with our offense to get back into field goal range.
Each team has missed a field goal in the overtime session. Marc Bulger with 2 interceptions starting from the 13. Marshall Faulk looking to get outside, slowed up and dropped. Greg Favors making the tackle after a pickup of 4.
The effort by both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, is just amazing. And the ability to get back out on the field with the swing of emotions that we have had already in this overtime. I mean, this is one of the most entertaining football games I have ever seen.
It is. I mean, the ebb and flow between each team, and there's, you know, heroes like Deshaun Foster. If you said the Panthers have a chance to win a game without Stephen Davis, who was injured in the first quarter. Second down and 6 on the 17. And Bulger getting enough time for the moment, and now running out of it, and Bulger gets hit as he picks up the first down. Reggie Howard put the hit on, but a 7-yard pickup and the first down.
Good decision by Marc Bulger. You've seen the different defensive looks that have been thrown at them all day long. Here's another one of those ones where they're dropping everybody back in coverage. They're getting depth. He doesn't feel comfortable trying to dump the ball to Marshall, so he just pulls it down himself and gets the first down.
Hey, when does fatigue become a factor for both teams on offense and defense?
About 20 minutes ago. I mean, these guys are running on fumes right now. It is just all will and heart right now.
From the 24, first down, and Bulger with a world of time. He's just looking for an open man, won't find it, and is sacked back inside the 20 by Greg Favors. He'll take a 5-yard loss on the play.
Another one of the matchup problems that they're having. He's getting some time right now, and you talked about the fatigue, Dick, in this situation. The Rams are one of the best teams that when a play breaks down of everybody moving to get open, but your tank is just so low right now that you don't have that ability. Even Torrey Holt right there, you're kind of in that situation. I got to save a little bit for some point in this game when I'm going to need a burst.
And also the thing is that when your concentration, you want to be sharp, you're tired, you don't want to make a mistake that can cost you the game. Fake draw play, pass up the middle, and it is a first down to Brandon Manu-Maliona. Big catch. Picking up 19 right down the middle.
You're going to see the play action right here to Marshall Faulk on the draw play. You see the linebackers bite right there. Will Witherspoon, Dan Morgan come up. That creates the void on the backside. Here they come. They're going to step up into the middle. Brandon Manu-Maliona releases to the outside, and there's that huge void because of just that little play fake inside to Marshall Faulk.
Second catch of the game for Brandon Manu-Maliona. 1st and 10 at the 37. Short drop and the slant, wide open, Marshall Faulk. Faulk getting into Panther territory and a first down to the 35. 28 yards by number 28, Marshall Faulk, who is summoning up all the energy from deep down that made him a champion years ago and apparently still is.
He's running hard. It looks like he's going to the flat. He gets up right up the field. That's a great route. This is a similar offense to what we ran in Dallas. That was a route that Jay Novacek ran as well as anybody. Right there, Marshall Faulk sees the zone coverage, breaks straight up the seam. Marc Bulger hits him in stride to allow him to run after the catch.
132 total yards for Faulk today and a touchdown scored. First down Rams on the Panther 38-yard line. Pressure from behind, and Bulger directing traffic, and the ball is intercepted. Picked off by Ricky Manning, and Manning gives it back to the Panthers. Ricky Manning with wrestling the ball away, and the interception, the 3rd of the game by Carolina.
This is a great individual play right here. Look at him break across, but watch this. Watch the one hand go up between Torrey Holt's hands and pull it away from him. And again, we talked about the fact that these guys are running on fumes. The play's breaking down. Look at the ability to stay with him, and then look at this. One hand in between him steals the ball right from Torrey Holt.
And Torrey Holt didn't come to the ball maybe enough, but can you blame him? Can you blame anyone?
I'm not going to blame anybody for anything right now.
Ricky Manning getting hugs on the sideline, but it means nothing because we have seen teams have chances so many times in overtime, and it's first down at 35. Panthers have it. Deshaun Foster hit at the line and will lose a yard. That was Grant Wistrom who came up to make the initial play.
But you sit and watch it, and St. Louis has been very effective every time they've been on the field offensively. Things that they can control have ended their drives. Carolina, you don't get that sense. You don't get the sense that they feel that they can take this game with their offense. They're going to need help like they had there with their defense, but even more than that, a a punt return, an interception return, a turnover that's advanced, or they've got to hit a big chunk, because I don't know if they can do this in a methodical way anymore.
You know, I saw Marshall Faulk. He must have said, give me one more chance, just one more. But right now the Panthers have the chance. 2nd and 11 at the 34, and Delhomme in trouble. Down he goes. And a loss of about 4. Jason Sehorn, former Giant, put the initial pressure on Delhomme, and a loss of 3.
Here comes all your pressure, and what ends up happening is you get 2-on-1. Nick Goings and Deshaun Foster both go for the same guy, and they leave Jason Sehorn free. They had the right protection called, but a miscommunication or a missed assignment. You've got 2-on-1. Here comes Jason Sehorn, number 42, free, the one that's first there to generate the pressure.
And time has run out as we take another look. That is the end of the first quarter in overtime. And there you see the coverage downfield. So Jason Sehorn, who missed the first 6 games with a broken foot, the former New York Giant, signing with the Rams, and we have completed the first 15 minutes. And for your information, the Rams will not have any timeouts in the next quarter. And this is the 5th double overtime game in NFL history, tied at 23. Moose, each team had a chance to win it with a field goal. Kasay from 45 yards out hooked it. Jeff Wilkins short from 53.
And as you pointed out, that delay of game penalty is going to go down in infamy. Number one, the fact that they made the field goal that was negated, but then again, those 5 yards, Kasay's field goal drifting, and it just went wide right. And you wonder if they were 5 yards closer, would have that ball sneaked in?
So we start quarter number 6. 3rd down and 14 from the 31 of Carolina. Delhomme fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
On a 3rd and 14.
69-yard play.
Unbelievable.
The Carolina Panthers have advanced, ending the St. Louis Rams' 14-game winning streak at home in an incredible game that will go down in memory as one of the highlights of playoff history, as John Fox's Panthers defeat the game St. Louis Rams, who had to come from behind late to tie it, and here's how it ended.
They block everything up and allow Steve Smith to get down the field. Jason Sehorn slips just a little bit right there, and that is enough for Steve Smith to get inside and get beyond all the defenders. This game was too good for anybody to have imagined this.